Man is dead following a stabbing at Busch Stadium. Police spokesman Mitch McCoy says the stabbing was overnight, an isolated incident that could have occurred anywhere. More on the incident at 6:03.
I'm Debbie Monterrey.
If you would like to help with the St. Louis City tornado recovery effort, Slate wants to talk with you. I'm Maria Aquina with the story.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Times of clouds and sun, breezy and warm today. A shower in spots this morning. A late day thunderstorm as well. The high close to 80.
Trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. All eyes are on the Strait of Hormuz after President Trump announced Project Freedom, his plan to have U.S. forces guide stranded ships out of the critical waterway. Iran has threatened to attack those forces if he goes through with it. The BBC's Yolande Nell reports from Jerusalem.
I think there is still here the potential for new confrontations in the Strait of Hormuz and indeed an escalation which could endanger the 3-week ceasefire between the U.S., Israel and Iran.
Americans are cutting down on driving as the strait closure continues to jack up gas prices. They've jumped about 30 cents over last week to $4.46 a gallon today. Brian Hahn owns a food truck in Toledo.
If I go to certain places that are farther away than just Toledo, I usually recommend or get a guarantee on the event before I go. And if I don't get that guarantee, I just won't go. So yeah, that's what I'm doing basically to cover that cost.
Investigators are on the case after scary moments for airline passengers on a United flight landing at Newark Liberty.
They felt something over the threshold and there's a hole in the side of the airplane. So I'm going to get you on the runway here in a moment.
Transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve.
The FAA and National Transportation Safety Board are investigating after a United Airlines 767 was coming in to land at the airport, flying in from Venice, Italy, with 231 people on board, when it appears a wheel on the plane's landing gear struck a light pole and perhaps a semi-truck on the New Jersey Turnpike.
No one on the plane was injured. The truck driver was treated for minor injuries. At least 10 people hospitalized north of Oklahoma City after 2 men wearing ski masks opened fire during a party. KWTV's Amanda Taylor.
I don't live too far from this area. I was sitting outside and I heard bang, 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 bang. And then a pause, and then another bang, 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 bang. I looked at my husband, and we both thought that sounded awfully strange. And then sure enough, we got word that there had been multiple shootings here near Arcadia Lake.
So far, no arrests. A deadly disease has hit a cruise ship off the West African coast. CBS's Vicki Barker.
3 people have died in a suspected outbreak of deadly hantavirus on board a cruise ship in the Atlantic. Another 3 people are showing symptoms, with 1 patient now in intensive care in a South African hospital. Hantavirus is a severe respiratory illness spread by the urine, feces, or saliva of infected rodents.
World Health Organization says there's low risk to the public, no need for panic or travel restrictions. This is CBS News.
It's one of the most successful law and justice programs in television history that continues to uncover the truth. 48 Hours, Saturday on CBS and streaming on Paramount.
It is 6:03. We do have cloudy skies. It's 58 degrees right now in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. An early morning stabbing at Busch Stadium leaves 1 man dead. Police spokesman Mitch McCoy.
Around 2:45 this morning, St. Louis 911 received a call for a cutting in the 700 block of South Clark. When officers arrived on scene, they found an adult man that we believe to be in his 20s suffering a stab wound. That individual passed away here at the scene.
McCoy says a person of interest has been taken into custody. Officers believe the stabbing occurred during an argument between 2 third-party cleaning contractors.
There was a double shooting around 1:30 Sunday in the 3900 block of Labadie. An adult woman was critically injured, a 16-year-old in stable condition after receiving a graze wound. Around 5:30 Sunday, another shooting at St. Ferdinand in North Taylor, and a shooting around the same time in the 4500 block of Cottage. Police say an adult man was critically injured. No other details have been released.
Metro Transit is holding public meetings this week on Bus Rapid Transit, BRT, for the new Green Line corridor after abandoning a light rail plan that became too expensive. BRT would cost roughly 60 to 65% less than the original Metrolink option, but why not split the difference?
One of the trends that we've seen has been toward, as opposed to heavy rail, heavy rail, light rail, and then streetcar rail. We've seen Kansas City, Cincinnati. I've heard that the cost for the streetcar level is much less than what was proposed for the light rail in the street, and that it would be comparable to BRT. Is that true? And why not take a look at a streetcar in between, but it would still have tracks?
No, so I do disagree with you a little bit. We've seen some of those streetcar lines be a little bit more expensive on a per mile basis. And one of the things that we did see when we went out to the public to talk about the Green Line specifically, is they wanted to be sure that we could run it far enough to include the far reaches of the city. Indeed, on the original light rail proposal, we weren't able to go as far down south, down to Dutchtown, to a really high, what is called transit modal split area, where we have a lot of ridership. And that's also true out at Natural Bridge. If we could go out a little further on Natural Bridge, we have a lot of customers out there that we feel we can catch. And one of the advantages of BRT, as opposed to the rail option, is we can go a little further.
In-person open houses are today at 2717 Sydney Street, tomorrow at the Polish Heritage Center, both from 5 to 7 p.m., or virtually Wednesday at 7 p.m. at greenlinebrt.com.
Trump's war in Iran continues, causing fuel prices to rise. Gas Buddies analyst Patrick DeHaan says it may take some time before prices are back to normal.
It may take a year for gas prices to go back to pre-war levels, because every day that we go with the Strait of Hormuz being closed is another week or 2 weeks that it's going to take for that oil to get to where it would have needed to go.
Illinois just set a new all-time record for average diesel prices, $5.92 a gallon.
Average gas prices in the St. Louis region hit $4.20 per gallon today. That average rose almost 27 cents in the past week and is $1.21 higher than prices a year ago. However, the regional average is 22 cents lower than the national average, which comes in at $4.42 today. The national price of diesel is $5.62 per gallon as of today.
As the one-year date approaches, marking the deadly May 16th tornado, Slate has some 100 jobs available to specifically work with the ongoing recovery efforts.
I was at one of the town halls that the city was putting on for the people, and the mayor was there, and she spoke about this work not being really profitable. So they only work with contractors that, sign up to be STL Recovers approved contractor.
That's the adult program manager at Slate, Dana Jones, and she tells KMOX the state applied for this grant through the Department of Labor. Jobs will be with approved STL Recovers contractors.
And so those are most of the companies we've reached out to see if they need additional labor, additional help to do this work. So we can work on private and public property to get people, back in their homes or do, like minor repairs and things.
Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
In the St. Louis region, about 98,000 households don't have a bank account. From the KMOX business desk, according to the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, reasons vary, including people not having enough money to maintain a minimum balance, credit problems, or distrust of financial institutions.
Bank On is a program that launched in 2017 aimed at ensuring everyone can have access to a safe and affordable account at a bank or credit union. A handful of St. Louis area banks offer them, including Midwest Bank Center, Busey, Carrollton, First Bank of St. Charles, PNC, UMB, and U.S. Bank.
We can bank on Roger Brand to give us the traffic report. That'll be in 2 minutes at 6:08.
Just a reminder to have your air conditioner checked for the summer so you don't have a mishap and it goes down in the hottest day of the year. But it's always best to have it done. Call us and we'll be more than happy to come out there and check it for you. And like always, if you're having your furnace checked by another company and you are told that this is the year you need to replace it, call me for a second opinion. The 0% interest is still available on most brands. Save your cash and keep your credit cards open and away from those high rates. Call me. You'll be glad you did. Bart Inman, one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. The easiest. It is 314-293-2600 or on the website bartinman.com. Now that's Bart with a B, inmanwithanI.com. God bless.
It seems like just yesterday when I captured my son's first steps or when we recorded his soccer games on VHS tapes. Those moments are gone. But the old home movies and pictures don't need to be. That's why my son created Legacy Box.
That's right, Mom. Over 1 million families have used Legacy Box to digitally preserve their old home movies and photos.
Simply fill Legacy Box with your old camcorder tapes, film, and photos. They will professionally digitize and send them back on DVDs, thumb drive, or the cloud.
With Mother's Day around the corner, it's the perfect time to get your Legacy Box and save your family's history. After all, few things are as important as protecting your precious memories. Give your mom a Mother's Day present she'll never forget. Take advantage of our Mother's Day sale, which starts now. It's our best deal of the year. Save up to 60% off. Visit legacybox.com/radio and for a limited time, get an incredible 60% off your order. That's legacybox.com/radio for 60% off. Legacybox.com/radio.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 6:10 and time to check the roadways and the weather. We start here with Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, there's no complaints out there so far this morning, Debbie. The only thing you need to be aware of is that they're going to start this emergency repair work on eastbound 5570 to east to 64 this hour. They're scheduled to have the two right lanes closed through Wednesday morning early. I think the wrap-up time's around 6 a.m., so probably won't impact, obviously, the rush hour on Wednesday morning. But it will impact your drives home tonight and tomorrow night, because with those lane restrictions, it's going to back up both the Mutual Veterans and the Poplar Street bridges. So some days we get traffic backed up all the way back past the ballpark. And I know we have games against the Brewers tonight, so that may keep it busy a little while longer. And of course, if your fans coming in from Illinois and the drive home, you may experience briefer delays. But after the rush hour dies down, it's not as much of an issue to get through that area. Obviously, right now, just seeing a little slowdown northbound 141 or 55 rather through 141 up to the Merrimack and right around Loughborough. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The financial industry is getting rich on baby boomers. Don't be their next victim. Find out the truth of what's really going on in the retirement industry. Join Greg Ayler Saturdays at 1 on Fire Your Financial Advisor.
A breezy, warm start to the work week today with clouds and sun, perhaps a shower this morning, and a thunderstorm toward evening, the high 80. Couple of showers and a thunderstorm tonight. Any thunderstorm late this afternoon into tonight can produce damaging winds, hail, and flooding downpours, the low 55. Tomorrow, much cooler with periods of rain and a thunderstorm, high only 59. Remaining cloudy and quite cool Wednesday with a passing shower or two in the afternoon, high 60. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, it's 58 in Florissant, 57 in St. Peter's. Cloudy sky, 58 downtown at the Arch.
It is now 6:12. The county executive in St. Charles County says downtown St. Louis can build itself back up if city leaders implement suggestions from neighbors.
Steve Ellman tells KMOX that with only 17% of the region's population, the city of St. Louis has received almost 29% of the federal transportation spending. That's nearly $400 per capita compared to about half as much in the counties of St. Louis, St. Charles, and Jefferson. Ellman says the city's traffic congestion needs to be addressed, perhaps by gateway green light technology like St. Charles County has.
When we have, for instance, a big 4th of July fireworks display down on the riverfront, when that's over, somebody can get on a computer and they can change all the traffic lights and allow all the people to get away, to get back to their homes.
Ellman says the federal government paid for 80% of their cost. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
Pride St. Louis announces the first recipients of its Community Give Back Fund. It's a grant program supporting initiatives that uplift and empower the LGBTQIA plus community across the metro area. Two $2,500 grants have been awarded to applicants selected by Pride's St. Louis Board of Directors, Camp Indigo Point, and the Wisdom Exchange, Caring for Our Future Selves. Pride St. Louis says this is only the first round of grants, with more to follow.
Senator Josh Hawley's GUARD Act passes out of committee unanimously.
It is a common sense, targeted, tailored effort to protect our kids and to protect our families.
This bipartisan legislation imposes criminal penalties on companies whose AI chatbots engage in sexually explicit conduct with minors or solicit minors to commit self-harm or violence. The bill now moves to the full Senate.
Illinois Senator Dick Durbin says President Trump is not delivering on the affordability agenda, whether it's young families trying to buy a home or a small business trying to survive.
Struggling under the combined weight of Trump's tariff taxes and his cuts to health care.
Durbin adds, ask anyone who is not part of the wealthy elite if they are benefiting from the pro-growth agenda. They will tell you they feel abandoned by President Trump.
A major environmental breakthrough out of Southern Illinois could one day change what happens to your plastic after you toss it.
The goal, less plastic sitting in landfills and fewer microplastics ending up in our bodies while turning waste into useful products. And now researchers at Southern Illinois University at Carbondale say they've developed a bacterium that can break down plastic waste and turn it into biodegradable materials. The microbe was first found in charcoal samples, then engineered in the lab with findings published in the Trends in Biotechnology, supported by federal funding. Researchers say the next step is federal approval before it can be scaled up for wider use. Sarah Herrera, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
It's time for our Redbird Report, sponsored by Restoration One of Greater St. Louis. The call on KMOX yesterday from Busch Stadium.
Scott with a 2-strike pitch coming. Pajes takes strike 3 and he challenges.
Call on the field is strike 3. The batter is challenging.
Might as well. The catcher was starting to challenge it because they thought they were going to call it a ball.
And it is strike 3, and this game has come to an end. Scott works a 1-2-3 ninth inning to break the Dodgers' 4-game losing streak and the Cardinals' 6-game winning streak.
A rare strikeout in the game yesterday as the Cardinals lost to the Dodgers. Final score was 4-1. The Cardinals only struck out 2 times, and they were both to Scott there in the ninth inning. Justin Robleski, the Dodgers starter, had a unique line. He went 6 scoreless innings. He allowed 6 hits. He walked no one, and he recorded no strikeouts. The Cardinals felt good about their hitting approach. They just feel like the ball went into the glove of defenders, and it would happen over and over again. The Dodgers scored 4 runs on 10 hits. They got after Dustin May early, although May finished strong. He allowed 6 runs, 3 runs in 6 innings on 7 hits. But May took the loss yesterday, and the Cardinals fell 4-1. It was their only loss of that series. They won the first 2 against the Dodgers, and they swept the previous series against the Pirates. So their 6-game winning streak came to an end. During that winning streak, Jordan Walker came alive again. He now has 10 home runs on the season. He is among the league leaders in multiple offensive categories. President of Baseball Operations, Chaim Bloom.
We've been saying it from the beginning. Obviously, again, to tell you we saw this coming, I don't believe anybody who says that. But what we did see was incredible work quality, and we saw that through the slump. And you just, figure out how to get back to where you need to be. And even just having that point to anchor to is so valuable for a young player. And the great thing about it is, now that he has reaped some early benefits of that work, he knows what he needs to do. So it is all about that daily work and keeping your head down, not being, satisfied, not ever resting on your laurels. And, frankly, we could talk about this for hours, but that's something I think our whole organization, everybody, whether you're in or out of uniform, has to do.
Cardinals take on the Brewers tonight at Busch Stadium. Jakub Dobeš. A lot of people might not know that he grew up in St. Louis, as he revealed yesterday on TNT. He's the young goaltender for Montreal who secured a Game 7 victory. The Canadiens beat the Tampa Bay Rays 2-1.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of Jordan Binnington. I grew up in St. Louis, and I just want to elevate my game on every single criteria, from saving a puck or playing the puck, because I feel like it's really important for the Ds to not take as many hits.
Moved here when he was 16, played for DeSmet and the AAA Blues, and now he is in the next round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Minnesota lost at Colorado in Game 1 of that series 9-6 in a high-scoring affair in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Detroit beat Orlando to move on to the next round, 116-94 in the NBA playoffs. And Cleveland at home knocked off Toronto to move on to the next contest against Detroit, 114-102. I'm Tom Ackerman. City fell at Austin 2-0. We'll get into that at 6:45 on KMOX.
Spring cleaning rule number 1, out with the old, in with the new. And frankly, your family's old internet connection is a dinosaur. Upgrade to the 1 gig modern family standard from i3 Broadband. It's 100% true in-home fiber with equal upload and download speeds, so your teenager's gaming won't crash your video call. Even better, we're currently offering our longest price guarantees ever on our gig speed internet services. Say goodbye to exploding promo prices and hello to budget certainty. Visit i3broadband.com/radio and start your spring off right.
Staples presents Celebrations Made Easy.
I was throwing a party for the twins and had custom invites and a banner printed at Staples. And that's when I saw Party City is now at Staples.
Party City? No way!
Yep. So now Staples has all your printing needs and everything you need for a party.
Everything times 2.
Yeah, and now at Staples, save 40% on custom cards, photo gifts, wrapping paper, banners, and more.
Big news! Party City is now at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in-store, online, or on the app. In 613, exclusions apply.
Well, summer is approaching. Kids are getting out of school. Everybody's going to be hanging out at home. You know what that means with everyone home full time and going in and out of the house? Your garage door is going to see a lot more use. Maybe they're heading out to the driveway to play basketball and ride bikes. Up and down the garage door goes. Well, do it a favor with annual maintenance from Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original, the one with the red ribbon. The 26-point tune-up is one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. I'm going to say that again. One price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. They'll tune up any brand. Get them all done. Trusted in St. Louis for 100 years. Always look for the genuine, the original red ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis since 1926. Schedule online at overheaddoorstlouis.com.
Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
It is 6:21. Let's check in with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Let's get a little busier out there, but still not bad, Debbie. This traffic reports a service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm, 70 out west, coming in from Orange and Wright City. Okay, do see a little bit of a slowdown, though. Southbound 61, passing Highway P. It opens up before you get midway down to Wensville Parkway. Of course, in the work zones on 55, that's always the first place we see heavier traffic. It's slow north of Richardson up to the Merrimack, and again from north of Bayless up through Holly Hills. It looks a little busy. 270 coming northbound from 55. Fine, it looks good both directions at Ladue. 64 through 159. No issues there so far. And again, they're starting road work this hour. Eastbound 5570 east of 64. Right lane's closed, and the ramp from westbound 64 onto eastbound 5570 will also be closed now through Wednesday morning. Next update is 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. We're partners committed to you, your business, and your community. From family law to litigation, we're ready to serve. Visit sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Breezy and warm today, times of clouds and sun, a stray morning shower, a thunderstorm in the area late this afternoon, high around 80. Cloudy tonight with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, low 55. Tomorrow, much cooler, periods of rain and a thunderstorm, high 59. It's 58 right now.
The news continues at 6:22. Webster University was known as the winningest college chess team in the nation, but now it's gone.
Susan Polgar, who started Webster on its blockbuster run, says Webster abruptly terminated its chess program just months after winning the Pan American Intercollegiate Chess Championship for the 10th time. She says that would be like UConn ending its basketball dynasty. Webster's chess team was ranked first in the nation for 14 consecutive years. In a statement to KMOX, Webster U says, quote, the program never met its stated objective goals of raising donations or attracting significant numbers of students to the St. Louis campus. The cost savings will help stabilize the university. Webster starting up a chess team coincided with the World Chess Hall of Fame and other chess institutions and competitions moving to St. Louis. Beth Coughlin, KMOX News.
There's a nonprofit, St. Louis Survivors Legal Support, that represents survivors of intimate partner violence for free. The executive director and founder, retired Judge Michael Burton, talked with KMOX's Maria Kina about the increasing need.
We essentially are there to help
folks get orders of protection, to extend their orders of protection, to enforce their orders of protection.
And Judge Burton says in a limited way, the organization represents people seeking custody of their children. Burton says after being on the bench for 22 years and hearing thousands of domestic violence cases, he saw a gaping legal void for people needing help.
There were so many people that I believed needed to have someone with them when they came into the court system. I think that in many instances, what I saw was that individuals would come to the courts, sometimes not file very adequate petitions, and that really limited them when they went to the court in front of a judge. I also saw that a lot of people just were not showing up for court. And what I know through so many experts telling us is that in many instances, respondents get served and they'll do whatever they can to stop the petitioner from showing up in court. And when someone doesn't show up in court, what happens is the judge has no other option but to dismiss their case.
Here's an eye-opening stat. 80% of orders of protection in St. Louis County are dismissed.
Now, a lot of them are dismissed for various reasons, but I certainly know that a good portion of them are dismissed because someone doesn't have someone by their side and they just decide not to show up in court.
Maria Kina, KMOX News.
We just celebrated an historic mission around the moon. That could get harder in the future. Starlink has led the race to space with satellites. Now more countries and companies want to launch satellites into orbit. CNET's Joe Suppan tells KMOX that could cause some serious problems in space and on Earth.
There's 15,000. There's projected to be 500,000 by 2040. So most of these concerns are for the future. They're not quite right now, but the big ones are that space debris, like space will just become so crowded that these debris from these satellites will crash into each other, and eventually space will become inoperable for humans and satellites alike. Another really big one that I think people are increasingly concerned about is the environmental impact on the Earth's atmosphere. When these satellites reach the end of their lives, they're deorbited and they burn up in the stratosphere. And we're starting to find out that they are leaving behind a lot of metallic elements up there. So that could accelerate climate change. It could damage the ozone. There's a lot of impacts that we're not quite sure about yet.
I want to go back to that first. And that was one of my questions, is whether, it's going to make future space travel and traffic through these satellite orbits difficult.
Yeah, I think that's a real concern that people have. Even a decade ago or so, Russia blew up a defunct satellite that they had, and it just made this huge debris cloud. It forced astronauts in the ISS to have to seek shelter. So human space travel has already been impacted by satellite activity. And just with the increasing number that's going up, it could really affect space travel.
You can listen to more of Megan Lynch's interview with CNET's Joe Suppan at 8:50 on KMOX on your smart speaker or on the Odyssey app.
It's 6:27. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
In a world in need of a hero, one man rises to the challenge in style. He is
Just driving the kids to soccer practice.
Make every day feel epic in the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid with up to an EPA estimated 619 miles of range on select trims, advanced tech, and class-leading interior space. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
And hey, come on, no cleats on the seats.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, Missouri, it's game time. Start betting like a pro with the world's largest sportsbook at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I'm a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circus Sports. It's sports betting the way it should be, with high limits, player-friendly pricing, exceptional customer service, and more. Download your new bookie at circusports.com. The action starts now, Missouri. Experience the difference with Circus Sports. Bet like a pro.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Presented by Worldwide Technology, the Biz-5K is back. Produced by the St. Louis Sports Commission, a high-energy corporate race in St. Louis's healthiest happy hour. Thursday, May 7th at Energizer Park. Register your team at stlbiz-.com.
It is 6:30, and it looks like the clouds are starting to move out of downtown a little bit. I'm going to call it partly cloudy and 58 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they quickly cleared a crash we had on eastbound 44 right at Highway 50 in Union. There's still a little backup coming down the hill, but lanes are open now. In fact, the fire crews got off at the Highway O exit. There was also a minor motorcycle crash on the ramp from North 270 on eastbound 44, and they've gotten that one out of the way as well, so making quick work of the trouble spots, thankfully. Northbound 55, north of Richardson up through 141 to Merrimack is slow. There's stop-and-go pockets from the Union Road overpass all the way up to Virginia. North 270, Doherty Ferry to Manchester is kind of slow. There's a stalled semi. It looks to me like it's on the right shoulder. Eastbound 64 before the Boone Bridge. Traffic's fine there. Still a little slow southbound 61 passing Highway P, but after that it opens up, and we're still okay on the Illinois side, westbound through 159 and across the Poplar. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says we're going to be breezy and warm with times of clouds and sun today, a high around 80 degrees. Tonight, cloudy, couple showers and a thunderstorm, a low of 55. Tomorrow, much cooler with periods of rain and a thunderstorm and a high of 59. It's 58 right now.
A 20-year-old man is dead following an argument at Busch Stadium. Police spokesman Mitch McCoy says officers received the call about 2:45 this morning and found the victim suffering from a stab wound. He later died on the scene. McCoy says the initial investigation reveals the stabbing happened after an argument between two third-party cleaning contractors.
It has nothing to do with the Cardinals, and it has nothing to do with Busch Stadium itself, other than they were third-party contractors working for the stadium doing overnight stuff.
A person of interest has been taken into custody.
The search for a child in the St. Francis River in Butler County of Missouri ends in tragedy. Despite several hours of searching for the toddler since Saturday afternoon, the child's body was found Sunday morning around 11 in 30 feet of water about 200 yards downstream from the boat dock where the child was last seen. Butler County Sheriff Mark Dobbs tells KWOC News they received several agencies' assistance, including specialized water rescue and dive teams from across southeast Missouri.
Metro Transit officials met with aldermen and the mayor's office last week, pushing toward a spring date for what could be a second public vote on transit funding. The agency is already holding public meetings on two proposed BRT routes, but the legal question of whether existing tax dollars can even be spent on bus rapid transit remains unresolved. Here's Michael Calhoun with Metro CEO Talby Roach.
Has there been any resolution to the question about whether there would need to be a vote on switching from light rail Metrolink to BRT for the sales tax?
It's very likely that we will be going to a vote to be sure that the
St. Louis voters are very confident about a BRT option. And Michael, you bring up a really good point. There was some specific language in that 2016-2017 vote that references Metrolink. And because of that, we just need to be absolutely sure that the taxes can be used for a BRT option.
Metro is holding in-person open houses today, tomorrow, and a virtual meeting on Wednesday.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts. michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It's 6:34. Your Money Minute next.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Mark Scores. The Chris and Amy Show. It's not the same old talk. It's fresh, it's different, and it's local. Chris and Amy dig into the news that matters, but they also keep it light, keep it fun, and keep you smiling. Serious when it needs to be, silly when it can be. That's pure entertainment with a local heartbeat. The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays at 9 on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
It is 6:35. It's time for your Money Minute, sponsored by Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is the Bloomberg Money Minute. As the airline industry faces lots of uncertainty, Delta plans to give its employees a 4% pay raise this year. Airlines are dealing with soaring jet fuel prices that have forced carriers to rethink their growth plans and has driven Spirit Airlines out of business. Turning to the market, stocks have been searching for direction this morning as geopolitical tensions in the Middle East continues. A shaky ceasefire has been in place with the U.S. and Iran struggling to agree to peace talks. S&P futures are up 7 points. Dow futures are down 110. And the company behind Rubbermaid, Sharpie, Elmer's Glue, and other major brands is seeing higher than expected demand for its consumer products. Shares of Newell Brands jumped close to 12% on Friday. The company raised its financial outlook for the year despite what the consumer goods giant calls a challenging macroeconomic environment. Other brands under its umbrella include Graco Baby Goods and Yankee Candles. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust, Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits. A $2,000 value, free.
Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-292-4382. That's 800-292-4382. 800-292-4382.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. 1 daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's ruffgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's ruffgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Today,
the Cards, the Brewers.
Ackerman Total Access 550. First pitch 6:45.
Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's 6:39, traffic in 1 minute. On Saturday, two manufacturers of the widely used abortion pill mifepristone asked the Supreme Court to block a lower court's ruling prohibiting distribution of the drug by mail. The appellate court had ruled on Friday that mifepristone must only be distributed in person and in clinics. The 2023 Food and Drug Administration ruling lifted a requirement that mifepristone be distributed in person.
The Strait of Hormuz could reignite the war with Iran. President Trump says the U.S. will guide ships stranded in the strait. In a social media post, the president called it a humanitarian gesture because many ships are running low on food. Iran says any, quote, U.S. interference in Hormuz would be a violation of the ceasefire.
And Rudy Giuliani, former New York City mayor and advisor to President Trump, is in critical but stable condition at a Florida hospital. That's according to a spokesperson who did not say why the 81-year-old was hospitalized.
Let's get you caught up on your ride in and the weather as well. It looks like a breezy morning, but we'll get more details coming up after we check the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's getting a little busier on the highways, but it's still not terrible, Debbie. This traffic reports a service of S&O Coins. If you're on northbound Highway 55, you have that slow traffic north of Richardson up to the Merrimack. The right lanes are bogged down. Butler Hill ramping on to North 270. And then all lanes looks more solid than it normally does. It's backed up from Bayless all the way through Holly Hills. It opens up as you approach Virginia. I can't see if there's anything blocking there right now, but it is certainly pretty solid on that drive. Eastbound 30, Mauer to 270s, heavy north 270. A little slow down at Big Bend and Doherty Ferry up to Manchester, slow. Southbound 61, just a little busy approaching One Swamp Parkway midway down, and 64, a little busy at Lake St. Louis Boulevard. They do have that ramp closed from westbound 64 onto eastbound 5570 now for that emergency repair work in the area, but I don't see any delays. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
S&L Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call S&L. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. S&L Coin.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg, just for my personal day today, there is a launch of the Clayton Chamber Collective. That's happening today at 5 o'clock in Clayton. Pretty exciting day for everybody there. I'll be part of that. It starts at 5, so my question to you is there any rain activity at that time?
It's close, but I think it holds off until more like 7 or 8 o'clock. I think that's really when I think the best chance of a thunderstorm will be. There's some stuff on radar right now that's slipping by to the north side of the city, but I think that'll fade away as we get to the mid and late morning hours, and there's a period of about 6 to 8 hours where nothing happens whatsoever. That's late morning and most of the afternoon. In between, we'll get to 80. I mentioned those thunderstorms toward evening. There'll be a couple of showers and a thunderstorm tonight. Could be gusty winds and downpours, even some small hail with any thunderstorm. Later tonight, though, 55. Rain and a thunderstorm tomorrow, the high only 59, so the cool air comes rushing back in behind this front tomorrow. And it stays cool and fairly cloudy Wednesday with a shower or two in the afternoon and a high of 60. Clouds, some sun on Thursday, the high 67. A little warmer Friday, mid-70s, although there may be a shower or thunderstorm in the afternoon. 60 degrees right now in St. Peter's, 63 in Florissant, mostly cloudy, 63 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:43, and the search is underway for 2 U.S. soldiers who went missing in Morocco while in the region for a training exercise. Officials say the soldiers were off duty at the time and may have fallen into the ocean in what's being described as a hiking accident. We get more from CBS's Chris Livesay.
We were in our tents when all of a sudden officials started calling for a head count. Into the morning, we saw aircraft scouring the area where the Saharan Desert meets the Atlantic Ocean. Later today, a U.S. official speaking on the condition of anonymity told us the service members were off duty when they fell off a cliff into the ocean.
Spirit Airlines does not fly out of St. Louis Lambert International Airport. It discontinued service here in January as part of a move to reduce its operating fleet and focus on stronger markets. That obviously was not enough to prevent the budget airline from halting operations. CBS's Olivia Gazis reports the closing of Spirit Airlines comes as the Iran war has sent jet fuel prices surging.
The near doubling of fuel prices that led to Spirit's collapse is one of the starkest business losses of the Iran war so far. But the administration is pointing the finger elsewhere.
We had an airline go down because the markets were trying to allow 2 airlines to merge, make them stronger, and offer more competition for the American consumer.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy blamed Spirit Airlines' demise on the Biden administration for blocking a merger with JetBlue in 2024. The previous administration denied the deal over concerns it would remove a low-cost carrier and raise prices.
Scientists create renewable natural gas from sewage.
A groundbreaking study from Washington State University showcases a new method of efficiently converting sewage sludge into renewable natural gas while significantly cutting treatment costs.
It opens the door for a solution we didn't have before.
Study lead author Professor Brigitte Arring says current renewable natural gas production is on track to replace fossil fuels.
45 to 55% of natural gas is renewable natural gas.
Stephen Kaufman, CBS News.
Who's Hot, Who's Not? Sponsored by St. Louis Composting, growing gardens, and making memories. I'll say Cardinals fans are hot right now. Now, granted, many of them were there to see Shohei Ohtani. You saw a lot of Dodger blue as well at Busch Stadium over the weekend, but the crowds were what they were, over 30,000 each day, 36,000 yesterday. Cardinals lost to the Dodgers 4-1. Ohtani, by the way, was hitless over the series, and he's hitless in his last 4 games. But at any rate, the Cardinals won 2 out of 3 in the series, and manager Ollie Marmol had a message for the fan base.
Yeah, I appreciate it. The players appreciate it because they feed off of that, and it was a really, really good environment. And we said it before, man, you can't just ask them to come out. You have to play a certain way where you earn it. You earn them coming back into the stadium, and I think our style of play has been consistent. The city is used to seeing a certain style of baseball, and you got to be clean defensively. You got to run the bases hard. You got to play the game all 9. I feel like our young dudes are doing exactly that. So I'm proud of our group for the way they're going about it, and I appreciate people showing up the way they have over the last couple homestands. It's been a lot of fun.
Cardinals take on the Brewers tonight. We'll have it for you on KMOX. The Cardinals are tied for second place in the NL Central with a record of 20-14, tied with the Reds. The Cubs have won 5 in a row. They lead the division by 2 games. The Brewers and Pirates sit 3.5 back. Everyone in the NL Central at least 3 games over 500. As the NL East goes, the Braves are the first team to 25 wins. They are 25-10 after their victory yesterday. The Dodgers lead the West by a half game over the Padres, and the Dodgers are 1 game better than the Cardinals at this point with a record of 21-13. In the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Montreal Canadiens beat the Tampa Bay Lightning. This is the 4th year in a row the Lightning have been bounced in the first round. 2-1 Canadiens win it on the road, and they do it with Jakub Dobeš, who grew up in St. Louis. The DeSmet product made 28 saves for Montreal to advance to the next round. Colorado, in a high-scoring affair, beat Minnesota 9-6 in the first game of that series. Detroit 116-94 win over Orlando to move on to the semis in the NBA, and Cleveland with a 114 102 win also moves to the conference semifinals. Now we take you to soccer.
St. Louis City SC came up short on the road, falling 2-0 to Austin FC on Sunday. After a scoreless first half, City had a golden chance in the 56th minute. Marcel Hartle picking off a bad defensive back pass to create a 2-on-1 with Simon Betcher, but the opportunity slipped away on what was nearly an open net. From there, the momentum shifted. Austin broke through in the 69th minute and added another in the 81st to seal the result at home.
We'll get some reaction from Yoann DeMay on the way at 7:15. Let's tell you about St. Louis Composting. Growing gardens, making memories, great company. St. Louis Composting. One of the best things about them, they have locations all throughout the St. Louis area. I had no idea when I first started working with them that they were that deep into the area. 9 locations in St. Louis, 9 of them. Now, we didn't use any of them. Actually, we had it delivered to our home. And what was it? Mulch, lots of it. And it was great. And actually the exact amount that we needed, because all we did was go to stlcompost.com. At the top, they have a cubic yards calculator. We put in exactly what we needed in terms of the dimensions of our yard, and they took care of the rest. The brutal Missouri drought last summer, we all felt that. Top dressing now makes your lawn significantly more drought resistant. Refresh your entire landscape with a fresh layer of mulch in your flower beds and around your trees. It's the fastest way to make your yard pop as well, with beautiful, well-kept look. It is St. Louis Composting, stlcompost.com.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Norm Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
10 women are recognized for volunteer leadership that changes lives. They support families, strengthen communities, and create opportunities where they're needed most. Join us Tuesday, May 19th at the Ritz-Carlton for the 2026 Women of Achievement Awards Luncheon. Celebrate their impact and be part of a tradition more than 70 years strong. Reservations available at WOASTL.org. For more information, go to KingdomOX.com/events.
Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
It is 6:50. This is Total Information AM. We've got some birthdays on the way, a lot of birthdays on this May the 4th. But first, let's get you traffic and weather, starting with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, 55 is the busiest drive in right now, Debbie. This traffic reports a service of Artistic Decks. If you're on northbound 55, you've got traffic that's bogged down running up from north of Richardson up to the Merrimack River Bridge. The right lane's Butler Hill through Madison just slow, and then it's stop-and-go pockets. Doesn't look quite as bad, but it's still very heavy from the Union Road overpass all the way up to about Virginia. North 270 is your ramp on from 55 is a little slow at the merge point. After that, just a little slow at Torrey Ferry and past 64 to Ladue. So, again, that doesn't look all that bad. Eastbound 64 past Prospects, a little off the pace. Westbound 64 is still looking good, not only at Fairview Heights, but across the Poplar. And that emergency repair work on eastbound 5570 past 64 doesn't appear to be bothering anybody, but that ramp is already closed from westbound 64 onto eastbound 5570 because of it. Next update is 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Summer's here. Is your backyard ready? If you missed the spring rush, Artistic Decks can still make it happen. From premium wood to maintenance-free composite, get the quality you deserve. Don't wait. Call Artistic Decks today at 314-280-0821.
Our weather forecast for today, we're looking at a warm day, Debbie.
We are. It's going to be breezy and warm with times of clouds and sun, a stray morning shower, and then a thunderstorm in the area late. We'll have a high around 80 today. And we could see a couple of showers and thunderstorms tonight as well. Some that could be pretty strong moving through tonight. Tomorrow, periods of rain and a thunderstorm with a high of 59 degrees, then 60 on Wednesday. Right now, it's mostly cloudy, 59 degrees in downtown St. Louis. It is time for us to check in with our CBS News business analyst. That would be Jill Schlesinger. Oh, hey, for the brave of heart who want to start a small business, Jill.
Oh, my gosh.
How do we do that in 2026?
Well, I mean, I have good news in that business formations are actually up And I think this has a lot to do with where we are in the labor market and just kind of like the dynamics of the world, meaning that I think a lot of people are saying, man, like the job market, it's okay, it's not terrible, but maybe I can make a go of this on my own. And because I have AI and because there are a lot of tools out there that might make me competitive pretty quickly. And so we are seeing a big surge in business formation. And that doesn't mean that like you've started a business and, oh, I'm an entrepreneur. It means that I'm going to give it a whack. And I think if you are considering this, I love the idea of sort of testing the concept so that, by the way, happy Small Business Week, which it is right now. And if you're jumping on the small business bandwagon, I think what's really great to do is to test things out. So meaning don't like pull all the money out of your retirement account to fund your new business. Maybe you have a small step and you use like a side hustle. Like, I'm going to see if this works. I'm going to see the proof of concept. And if you start to gain some traction, then you might consider, okay, if I'm going to start a business and I'm going to leave a full-time job or even a series of gig jobs that I have, what am I losing? I think that's important because, if you look at everything, you say, oh, look at this. I'm making this many dollars every single month. And then you're like, well, but then I have to pay for all of my own health insurance. Then I have to create my own retirement plan. I have to buy my own life insurance. Like there's a lot of things you give up as an employee when you go into business for yourself. And if it still works after all of that, then you just should definitely be talking to a CPA or a CFP or do your homework on the Small Business Administration website and figure out what business structure works for you and figure out what kind of retirement plan you want to have for yourself.
What are those retirement plan options?
Okay. So, easy peasy, you start your business. You just say, okay, I'm going to use a retirement account, like an individual retirement account, an IRA, either a traditional or a Roth. But then there are like things go well, right? Oh my gosh, it's amazing. We're making a lot of money. You can use what's called a SEP IRA, a simplified employee pension, and that will allow you to put a lot of money away for yourself. If you've got the business and it's growing and you're like, oh, I've got some employees, I really want to do a retirement plan for them. There's a simple IRA. And this allows you to put not as much money as a 401k, but it's really, it's simple in that it's cheap to operate. If you're an individual and you're just kicking tush, okay, this is the official term, like you're making a lot of money, you can create a 401k for yourself. And it's a solo 401k, which means you can put in as much money for yourself as you would be if you were an employee, which is $24,500 this year. So a lot of different plans from which to choose. You can even put in pension plans for yourself, but you should absolutely talk to a CPA or a retirement plan specialist, a certified financial planner, one of these folks who has real experience creating these plans.
That is Jill Schlesinger, our CBS News business analyst. Have a great week.
You too.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
Ken Oberkfell, who was born in Highland, Illinois, world champion for the Cardinals in 1982, celebrating a birthday today. He is 70 and one of the great golfers of our time. Rory McIlroy is 37.
The birthday shout out sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back. Happy birthday to Jenna Olemeyer. Happy 6th birthday, Zoe Tonys from your family. Zoe Vondahar, Wayne Johnson, Sharon McCarthy, Rennie Knott, Diego Abente, Keith Mobley. Happy 35th wedding anniversary, Kim and John Wall from The Blessings. Happy 52nd anniversary, Mary Kay and Tom Prott of Fairview Heights. Happy birthday wishes to Mary Ann Hobb. Happy 35th anniversary to Diane and Rich Hespen from Mom and Dad Adams. And happy birthday wishes going out to Paul Byrne and Jessica Rubsum.
This is the best birthday ever.
All right, if you need to sell your house, a safe bet is having the best agent. And we all know people who sell homes. And I know sometimes it seems just easier to go with that guy from church or your brother-in-law's friend. But I would highly recommend that you take this seriously because it could be the most important decision you make when it comes to selling your home. Call Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria Liu will sell your home. She guarantees it. In fact, some of her best clients are ones who have had another agent before, or maybe several agents before, and didn't sell the house or didn't get anywhere near what they said they could get for the house. Gloria Liu will sit down with you, talk to you about your goals, your aims, how you'd like to sell your house, and then she will pull out a written guarantee, an upfront guarantee that she'll sell your home at the price and time frame acceptable to you, or she'll buy it herself. She also will sell your home at 100% of market value, or she'll pay you the difference. I don't think other agents will say the same. So call Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888 or online now at gloriahasthebuyers.com.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com. Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Guys, Kevin Wheeler here. I want to tell you about the Burn Balance Complex, which is available at Supplement Superstores. And it's Burn Balance Edge for the guys. It's Burn Balance Zen for the women. And what this is very simply a complete metabolism system. It's not just a simple fat burner. It's way more than that. It works with your body to get the metabolism working the way that it's supposed to. So what you notice right away, what I've noticed here in the first couple of months is your shirt will lay a little bit flatter, your pants fit a little bit looser. It's not like that as immediate, but it comes pretty fast. This is a great natural weight loss option for people that don't want prescriptions or injections. If those aren't for you, go to Supplement Superstores and check out the Burn Balance Complex. On top of getting the metabolism working, you're going to get reduced stress with lower cortisol levels. You're going to have appetite control and craving control, all-day focused energy without the jitters that come with energy drinks. And look, it's not magic. You got to do things the right way, but the Burn Balance Complex makes it so much easier. So get out to Supplement Superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They will knock 30% off the Burn Balance Complex for you right there, and you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
Tensions. I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Tensions are high in the Middle East this morning after President Trump announced U.S. forces would begin guiding stranded ships through the Strait of Hormuz. Correspondent Vicki Barker is at the foreign desk.
Shipping security executive Jacob Larson, for one, was skeptical about President Trump's offer to protect ships sailing through the Strait of Hormuz.
To me, it looks like the outcome will be predictable. There will be some shooting at some ships, and then probably armed conflict will break out again.
Now, Iran's media report a U.S. Navy frigate has been targeted by 2 missiles in the strait, something the U.S. denies.
Conflict has pushed gas prices up even more. They're about 30% higher than they were a week ago at an average $4.46 a gallon today. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy tells ABC.
It's going to take time to get back to where we were before this conflict began, but you're going to see, I think, immediate relief once the strait opens.
Scary moments at the airport in Newark when a United flight came in low, hit a truck and a light pole on the turnpike nearby. Dashcam video from the truck captures an image of what appears to be the plane's wheel approaching in midair. CBS's Lilia Luciano is at Newark Liberty.
New Jersey State Police say a preliminary investigation indicates the underside of the plane and one of its landing tires collided with the tractor trailer and a light pole. Air traffic control cleared the plane to land.
Everyone on the plane's okay. Truck driver treated for minor injuries. Officials say 3 people have died, 6 others are sick from a viral outbreak on a Dutch cruise ship that's docked off Cape Verde. No one's being allowed to disembark. CBS's Ramy Inocencio.
South African officials say a 70-year-old man from the Netherlands was the first to become sick before dying on board. His 69-year-old wife also fell ill and later died at a South African hospital. Officials have not released information on the 3rd death, but a 4th passenger from the UK is currently hospitalized and tested positive for hantavirus.
Trump ally Rudy Giuliani is being treated at a hospital in Florida. CBS's Ed O'Keefe.
A spokesperson says the 81-year-old is in critical but stable condition, but didn't say why Giuliani was hospitalized. On Truth Social, the president called him a true warrior and the best mayor in the history of New York City by far.
A 76-year-old actress led The Devil to the top of the box office.
Miranda? Took you long enough.
The Devil Wears Prada 2, starring Meryl Streep, came in on top, debuting with $77 million in the U.S. and Canada. Women made up 76% of ticket buyers. This is CBS News.
The stars shine brighter on CBS Mornings.
This is a slam dunk.
So cute. Gail came in singing for me today.
On CBS Mornings. Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas.
It is 7:04 and we have partly cloudy skies downtown. It's 59 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. We'll get you the latest forecast from AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg. That's coming your way in just about 8 minutes. Our top story this morning, a man is dead following a stabbing at Busch Stadium. Police spokesman Mitch McCoy says officers received a call around 2:45 this morning. A 20-year-old male was found suffering from a stab wound near the south entrance. He later died on the scene.
But let me be very clear. This could have happened anywhere. But what happened tonight was a dispute between two people. And you know what? At any workplace, there's a fight or there's some type of disagreement between employees. Rarely does that escalate into a stabbing, but it does happen.
McCoy says the initial investigation reveals the stabbing happened after an argument between two third-party contractors. A person of interest has been taken into custody.
There was a double shooting Sunday around 1:30 in the 3900 block of Labadie. An adult woman was critically injured and a 16-year-old is in stable condition after receiving a graze wound.
Around 5:30, another shooting at St. Ferdinand and North Taylor, and a shooting around the same time in the 4500 block of Cottage. Police say an adult man has been critically injured. No other details have been released.
Nearly 70% of Metro's current ridership still gets around on buses, not light rail. That's part of the argument as the agency asks the public this week to weigh in on two proposed BRT routes for a new Green Line corridor.
And for those mourning the death of a true rail expansion, officials point to what's happened in cities like Kansas City, where BRT has spurred transit-oriented development along its corridors. Metro CEO Talby Roach tells our Michael Calhoun.
Is there an opportunity, is this built so that maybe the BRT lanes could be upgraded to Metrolink?
Yeah, there's no question. Like a lot of times, a BRT can be a primer to what would be seen in later generations where you might move to rail, especially when you've established the right-of-way, which is a very, very important aspect.
BRT stands for Bus Rapid Transit. The public can weigh in at in-person open houses today at 2717 Sydney Street, tomorrow at the Polish Heritage Center, or a virtual meeting Wednesday at greenlinebrt.com.
The potential Ferguson data center is back under discussion. The Ferguson City Council meeting tonight at 6. They're expected to take up the issue. A special session on turning the old Emerson Electric headquarters campus into a data center was supposed to be held 2 weeks ago, but was rescheduled after Mayor Adrian Shropshire said the council needs to have more transparent conversations with residents before taking a vote.
The war continues to cause fuel prices to rise. Gas Buddy petroleum analyst Patrick DeHaan says it may take some time before prices are back to normal.
It may take a year for gas prices to go back to pre-war levels because every day that we go with the Strait of Hormuz being closed is another week or 2 weeks that it's going to take for that oil to get to where it would have needed to go.
Illinois has just set a new all-time record for average diesel price at $5.92 a gallon.
Average gas prices in the St. Louis region hit $4.20 per gallon as of today. That's almost 27 cents in the past week that it's gone up, $1.21 higher than a year ago. However, the regional average is 22 cents lower, at least than the national average, which is now $4.42 a gallon. National price for diesel is $5.62
And in the St. Louis region, from the KMOX Business Desk, about 98,000 households don't have a bank account. That's according to the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. Reasons vary, including people not having enough money to maintain a minimum balance, credit problems, or distrust of financial institutions.
Bank On is a program that launched in 2017 aimed at ensuring everyone can access a safe and affordable account at a bank or credit union. A handful of St. Louis area banks offer the Bank On accounts, including Midwest Bank Center, Busey, Carrollton First Bank of St. Charles, PNC, UMB, and U.S. Bank.
Traffic and weather next. It's 7:08.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Is your garage door past its prime? Get a free repair or replacement quote from Renner Garage Door. Renner is America's oldest family-owned garage door company that serves both wholesale and retail markets. Right now, get $100 off a new garage door when you mention this ad. With trusted brands like Delden, Amar, LiftMaster, you know it's built to win. Renner's also hiring experienced techs and installers. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120. Visit Lance, DRURY law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Your yard, your workday, your John Deere. At Side & Sugar Nobe Partners, get the mowing power you need with low financing options on John Deere Zero Turns. For a limited time, choose 0% financing for 36 months or 1.9% financing for 60 months on Z700, Z900, and Quick Track commercial mowers. Plus, get additional cash off select mowers. Side & Sugar Nobe, your partner for the land.
Offer valid through 6/1/2026. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is now 7:10. Let's get you caught up on traffic and weather. It's a windy morning out there, and we've got varying amounts of clouds in the region. Roger Brand is looking at things from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, I guess it's not intense sunshine in your eyes, at least not on these eastbounds. Not enough to bother you, though, Debbie. Running in on eastbound 44 and eastbound 64, they look good. Even coming in from Wentzville, eastbound 70, there's no delays. Even southbound 61, everything's on the go for you there. The busiest highway continues to be northbound Highway 55. We've got slow traffic, 141 to the Merrimack, about midway up the hill from Merrimack, bottom to Butler Hill, or approaching Butler Hill. It gets busy in the right lane, slow all the way up to 270, and then you're backed up from Bayless to River to Pear, but remains slow to Virginia. North 270 through Tesson Ferry up to Gravois is kind of busy, and then north of Manchester up to 64. The Ladue, westbound 64, that ramp on the North 270 is backing up, and westbound 64 is just a little slow at 159 in Fairview Heights. Next update is 750 or 720 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, breezy and warm today with clouds and sun. There can be a shower in spots this morning, but watch out for a late day thunderstorm, the high 80. Tonight, cloudy with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. Any thunderstorm during the late afternoon and nighttime hours can produce damaging wind gusts, hail, and even flooding downpours, the low 55. Now, tomorrow will be much cooler with periods of rain and a thunderstorm, high 59. Mainly cloudy and quite cool Wednesday, perhaps a shower or two in the afternoon, high just 60. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We're seeing some blue sky downtown, partly cloudy, 60 degrees at the Arch.
Did you know that St. Charles County has gateway green light technology that allows traffic signals to be controlled from one central server? The county executive there is pushing for the city of St. Louis to consider investing in that same program.
Steve Ellman tells KMOX it took him 30 minutes to drive 4 blocks downtown after the Cardinals' home opener. He says traffic congestion's a big problem in the city, with East-West Gateway Council of Governments identifying 42 sections of bumper-to-bumper snarls.
They are receiving a lot of money, federal money, to replace in the city, to replace the streetlights that are there. But the street lights that are there, can't be adjusted.
Ellman says the federal government covered 80% of St. Charles County's green light cost. He wonders if the city could carve out some RAM settlement money to affect their change. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
A lot of the jobs will be, the title is like debris removal laborer.
That's Slate's adult program manager, Dana Jones, talking with KMOX about the 100 or so jobs that have been made available through a grant from the Department of Labor. All the jobs will be working with city-approved STL recovery contractors.
We also are working with some companies that are doing kind of like remediation before demolition and things like that. And so there are like some higher level jobs that, people may need like a credential or some sort of certification for. And so we're also recruiting for those type of jobs too.
Jones says whether you have experience or not, Slate wants to put people to work. Jones says the rate of pay depends on the work site, but the lowest paying job starts at $18.75 an hour for the general laborer.
With unanimous support, Senator Josh Hawley's GUARD Act passes out of committee.
This bill started with a conversation Senator Britt and I had when Katie said to me after a hearing on this subject, she said, why can't we ever do anything this is my paraphrase. She's a nicer person than I am. But this is a gist of it. Why can't we ever do anything to protect kids?
The legislation imposes criminal penalties on companies whose AI chatbots engage in sexually explicit conduct with minors or solicit minors to commit self-harm or violence. It also bans AI companions for minors and mandates AI chatbots disclose their non-human and non-professional status.
Ask anyone who isn't part of the wealthy elite that President Trump surrounds himself with, and they'll tell you they feel abandoned by the president.
Illinois Senator Dick Durbin says the president promised to lower prices for families on day one. The senior senator says Americans are struggling under higher grocery, housing, utility, and healthcare costs, not to mention soaring fuel costs at 7:15. Cardinal baseball yesterday on KMOX. The Redbirds fell to the Dodgers. Final score was 4-1, but for the most part, Ollie Marvel, the Cardinals manager, liked the way his team swung the bat, he explains.
I actually thought we swung the bat really well. You look at our overall contact, and we took really good swings, and it's one of those games where if we repeat what we did today offensively, I think we're in a really good spot over 162. I mean, we stayed in the zone. We struck the ball well right at people, and there's not a whole lot you can control after that. But as far as our approach and swings we got off, I was very happy with it.
Yeah, Alec Burleson had a line drive that was caught, some that reminded us of how Burley used to swing it. He would hit line drives right at people before he broke through as one of the best hitters on the team. And in the 8th inning yesterday,
3-2 with 2 down. Walker leads. There he goes. The pitch. Burleson loops the ball into right center. That's going to get down for a hit. Walker's being waved around. He's going to score as Pajes mishandles the ball. That's a run for the Cardinals, down by 2 now. Pop Warner wasn't hesitating. He was windmilling Walker around third base, and Pajes couldn't get a grip on the ball in the outfield.
Cut of the game sponsored by the Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net. But that's all the Cardinals could get. They fell 4-1. That's an underrated part of Jordan Walker's game. He's a good base runner, long strides, great athlete. Cardinals take on the Brewers tonight. The Cards are currently tied for second in the National League Central, 2 games behind the Cubs. The Reds are also 2 back. Tonight's game begins at 6:45. We'll have it for you with a 5:50 pregame here on KMOX. We're also the home of St. Louis City SC. They play on Y98 FM, and they fell 2-0 at Austin yesterday. Here's Jen Cease.
Head coach Juan DeMay says those moments prove costly, especially in a demanding stretch.
It was the third game of the week for us, and I think we lacked a little bit of freshness. We got to take care of those key moments a little bit better and be more clinical when they present themselves. I'm there to keep pushing the group. I'm there to keep giving the confidence to the guys, and I hope those chances will be in the back of the net sooner rather than later.
Edward Leuven made his first start of the season, while Daniel Edelman was off this travel roster due to load management, giving Miguel Perez another start in the midfield. City returns home to train this week before heading to Colorado on Saturday. With the City Spotlight, I'm Jen Cease, KMOX Sports.
NBA playoffs, Detroit and Cleveland advance to face each other in the Eastern Conference semifinals. That series will begin tomorrow. In the Stanley Cup playoffs, Montreal beats Tampa Bay in Game 7, 2-1 at Tampa Bay. And Jakob Dobesh, who grew up in St. Louis, was the number one star with 28 saves for the Canadiens. Hear from him coming up at 7:45. Colorado beats Minnesota 9-6 in Denver last night in Game 1 of their series. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
We are starting to take advantage of not one, not two, but 3 clubhouses for the Missouri Athletic Club members and guests. Our third clubhouse just opened in Clayton. It is a wonderful spot. 14th and 15th floors of the Pierre Laclede Center in Clayton. Was there recently enjoying a nice cocktail with friends. We had appetizers all over the table. It was a good time just to celebrate life and have a good time together at the Missouri Athletic Club. It's a great place to close business. I'm certain that there will be some great business meetings happening there, breakfast, lunch, and dinner at the Missouri Athletic Club Clayton for our members and guests. Of course, there's downtown. That's the one that most people know, the downtown hub, if you will, 11-story building at 405 Washington Avenue. And although it's open year-round, the summer is where things really get moving at the MAC West. That's located at 1777 DePere Road in Town and Country. The Missouri Athletic Club, 3 clubhouses now in St. Louis, mac-stl.org.
Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
7:20 and time for traffic and weather. Roger Brand checks in from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center with the very latest.
Well, it's still not bad on the Illinois side, Debbie. It's just a little slow westbound 64 running through 159. Sorts itself out pretty quickly. You do have backed up traffic on northbound Route 3 from almost Jerome up to Monsanto, southbound to Queenie. Has a little bit of a backup as well, but obviously not as extensive going that direction. Northbound 55 cleared out further down south. It's still slow in the right lane south of Butler Hill to 270 and stop-and-go pockets from about the Union Road overpass up to Holly Hills. North 270, north of 55 to Tesson Ferry, Sappington through Gravois, a couple of slow spots. Doherty Ferry up to about Clayton Road, and those ramps east and westbound 64 getting onto North 270 backed up as they merge in through that work zone. It's always a little congested, a little tight through there. Eastbound 64, just a slowdown. Clarkson midway into Timberlake, but it looks good both ways on 64 at the Interbelt. Eastbound 70 coming in from St. Charles County. No issues there. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Bring your home back to life with Zero Res, a fresher clean that you can actually feel. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $139 and whole home air duct cleaning starting at just $599. Visit ZeroResSTL.com and tell them about the DGS KMOX deal.
Joe Lundberg says we're going to be breezy and warm today with a high around 80 degrees. A thunderstorm in the area late today. We'll keep an eye on that. Cloudy with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm tonight. Tomorrow, much cooler, periods of rain and a thunderstorm and a high of 59. Currently, we have a mostly cloudy sky in downtown St. Louis. It's 60 degrees.
The news continues at 7:22 this morning. We've told you about the nonprofit founded by retired Judge Michael Burton, St. Louis Survivors Legal Support. This is an organization that provides free legal help for survivors of domestic violence. Judge Burton spoke with Maria Kina about the challenges facing victims and says it's not because of a lack of effort.
There really are limited resources to address these problems.
Judge, with the cuts that are going on, I mean, we see it all the time here with the state legislature, with Missouri lawmakers, all of the programs that are put there as safety nets to help people, and they don't fund them. And I don't understand what their rationale is behind that, given how bad the situation is.
You know, it's certainly aggravating. And I think that if we start, just talking about the Shreveport case, when you look at the mental health issues that were obviously there, I think that people don't take mental health challenges as seriously as they should. We certainly don't match it with the finances to address it. And then when we start looking at how incredible the problem gets when you're dealing with the challenges of being abused, we certainly need to get folks the mental health that they certainly deserve. It's very frustrating. But the great thing is I think these issues are on our radar screen. But I certainly know that we need a lot more help in this community.
When you look at the number of people that you serve, how many of them go back into that environment? Do you have any numbers on that? How many you successfully get out of an abusive relationship?
I believe in the system. And I think that the problem is the system is as good as you put into it. And I look at St. Louis County Circuit Court, for example. It's filled with judges that get it and understand the dynamics of domestic violence. I believe in the system in that right now we have prosecutors and judges and police that work together to address the problems of domestic violence and intimate partner violence in our community. I think that when you have a system that works, it can make a huge difference. And what I mean by that is that orders of protection are not just pieces of paper in St. Louis County. Orders of protection are enforceable. There's ways that people are being held accountable that did not happen years ago. And what I see is that when you have orders of protection that have teeth to them, it's a life-changing situation for so many people. So they don't go back. And when someone knows that if someone violates that order of protection and they have some things that they can do about it, that's something that changes the course of people's lives. It does make a difference. And people, if in fact they get the help that they need, if they get into a system that pays attention to their complaints, they don't go back. Such a big issue for so many victims is financial independence. In so many ways, they keep going back to their abuser because they have nowhere else to go. I used to shudder when I was, a young attorney, and I would hear judges say, well, it couldn't have been that bad because you went back or you stayed. That was never an option that they had. And when someone gets that financial independence and gets resources, and there's an abundance of organizations that provide those kind of resources in our community, it can ensure that people stay away. It's not perfect. And of course, we always have to be, alert to possible violations and folks that don't get it. And those are the ones that need to be incredibly, paid attention to. And once folks get that information from the prosecutor's office, for example, they'll pay attention to it. We just have to believe in a system that I believe works.
Maria Kina, KMOX News.
Just getting word that the longtime voice of the New York Yankees, John Sterling, has passed away at the age of 87. We will have a tribute to Mr. Sterling at 7:45. It's 7:27. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust, Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits. A $2,000 value, free.
Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-292-4382. That's 800-292-4382. 800-292-4382.
If you have been in a car accident in the past and have settled your case, I may have some good news. Some unethical lawyers have people known as runners who come directly to your hospital room or home and solicit your case. It's a disbarable offense. Anyone that would hire these scumbags needs to have their heads examined. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Now for the good news. If this happened to you, we will sue these lowlifes and fight to get all your fees back. And then look and see if these bottom feeders also malpracticed your case and sue them for that too. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Visit forthepeople.com for a free consultation or call Pound Law on your cell, pound 529. If someone does this to you, call the Bar Association and report them. Let's fight these bums. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
With summer here and the kids home full time, your garage door will see a lot more use. Do it a favor with annual maintenance from Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The 26-point tune-up is one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Get them all done. Trusted in St. Louis for 100 years. Always look for the genuine, the original red ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Since 1926, they're never going to steer you wrong. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
And Doug.
There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means playing in a football game.
Boom! 42! You're going down, Doug!
Oh, yeah? Your price on car insurance when you customize and save is going down.
Hey!
Limu? What are you doing on their team? Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
It is 7:30, and we do have sunshine with some clouds and 49 degrees in downtown 59 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Still driving up on northbound Highway 55. It's looking good down south coming up through 141 to the Merrimack. The right lanes are just a little bit busy. Butler Hill, Mattis area, just slow ramping on to North 270. Again, that's looking better than it did. But you have the usual congestion in spots from just north of the Union Road overpass all the way up through Holly Hills, Virginia. Northbound Telegraph from south of Baumgartner up through Pottle looks pretty congested. Northbound Tesson Ferry, you've got delays from north of Well through Butler Hill. That's a busy part. And then it also looks a little heavy approaching Kennerly. North 270 is your ramp on for 55 through Gravois is slow. Gravois is busy. Mauer to 270. 270 is still off the pace from pretty much 44 all the way up to Ladue, although South 270 is barely slow between Alva and Ladue. Doesn't look that bad there. Eastbound 64, delays through the Chesterfield Parkways, but again, not bad at the Interbelt. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley, typically slow, and eastbound 70 is good. Just a little bit busy around Earth City. On the Illinois side, still this backup on northbound Route 3 from Jerome all the way up to Monsanto, pretty solid, and westbound 64 slow, both sides of 159. Next update is 740 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be breezy today, and despite some times of sun. We could see a thunderstorm in the area late, a high around 80, and we could see some showers and thunderstorms tonight, some strong ones too. Tomorrow's high just 59 degrees with periods of rain and a thunderstorm, and then a passing shower to 60 on Wednesday. Currently, we do have some sun now, and it's 59 degrees.
An early morning stabbing at Busch Stadium leaves one man dead. Police spokesman Mitch McCoy.
Around 2:45 this morning, St. Louis 911 received a call for a cutting in the 700 block of South Clark. When officers arrived on scene, they found an adult man that we believe to be in his 20s suffering a stab wound. That individual passed away here at the scene.
McCoy says a person of interest has been taken into custody. Officers believe the stabbing occurred during an argument between two third-party cleaning contractors.
Metro Transit is holding public meetings this week on Bus Rapid Transit, or BRT, for the new Green Line corridor after abandoning a light rail plan that became too expensive. BRT would cost roughly 60 to 65% less than the original Metrolink option. But why not split the difference?
One of the trends that we've seen has been toward, as opposed to heavy rail, heavy rail, light rail, and then streetcar rail. We've seen Kansas City, Cincinnati. I've heard that the cost for the streetcar level is much less than what was proposed for the light rail in the street, and that it would be comparable to BRT. Is that true? And why not take a look at a streetcar in between, but it would still have tracks?
No, so I do disagree with you a little bit. We've seen some of those streetcar lines be a little bit more expensive on a per mile basis. And one of the things that we did see when we went out to the public to talk about the Green Line specifically, is they wanted to be sure that we could run it far enough to include the far reaches of the city. Indeed, on the original light rail proposal, we weren't able to go as far down south, down to Dutchtown, to a really high, what is called transit modal split area, where we have a lot of ridership. And that's also true out at Natural Bridge. We can go out a little further on Natural Bridge. We have a lot of customers out there that we feel we can catch. And one of the advantages of BRT, as opposed to the rail option, is we can go a little further.
There are in-person open houses tonight and tomorrow night from 5 to 7 and virtually Wednesday at 7.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We'll check your Money Minute next.
Some shows are about sports. Some shows are about nothing. This one's kind of both.
So the show's not really a sports show per se. It's just a show. Glover here, we talk about whatever's happening, life, work, random stuff. And yeah, the Cardinals always find their way in. I'm a lifelong fan, love going to the games, love supporting the team, and love hanging out with you guys.
The Dave Glover Show at 1, and then Cardinals baseball.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
In a world in need of a hero, one man rises to the challenge in style. He is...
just driving the kids to soccer practice.
Make every day feel epic in the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid with up to an EPA-estimated 619 miles of range on select trims, advanced tech, and class-leading interior space. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
And hey, come on, no cleats on the seats.
It is 7:36, and it's time for your Money Minute here on Total Information AM. It's sponsored for you by Busey Bank.
This is the Bloomberg Money Minute. The U.S. has become the #1 exporter of crude, overtaking Saudi Arabia, with more than 250 million barrels shipped overseas in the past 9 weeks. But But record American exports also come with warnings that this supply cushion is rapidly being pushed to its limits. Many energy experts are questioning how long shipments can be sustained at such levels. Domestic inventories are quickly depleting. Checking on your money, the S&P and NASDAQ are starting the week at a record high, and this morning futures are pointing to further gains. Traders are setting aside concerns about the economic fallout from the Middle East conflict. And Disney is said to be thinking about developing a super app where users can book park tickets, play games, and watch movies. Sources tell us executives at the House of Mouse are discussing how to unify the company's mobile apps and turn its streaming service into the first stop for all things Disney. The goal is to simplify how customers interact with the brand. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Since we opened our doors in 1868, Busey has fostered deep customer relationships and vibrant communities, embodying a legacy of partnership and progress. With multiple lines of business, we provide a range of financial solutions tailored to your needs. From digital banking to planning for retirement, Busey is here to help you achieve your financial goals. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients divorce. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
May is a beautiful month in St. Louis. There's no doubt about that. The trees look awesome out there, but what's going on inside the tree is a problem. It's called the emerald ash borer. And if you have an ash tree in your yard, and the odds are you do, a lot of ash trees in St. Louis, the emerald ash borer, an exotic wood-boring beetle, attacks ash trees exclusively. And early symptoms of an infestation might include dead branches near the top of the tree, maybe wild leafy shoots growing out from the lower trunk. If you have any of these signs, call Gamma Tree experts, gammatree.com, have them come over, and they will treat your ash trees. We had a soil drench happen here recently just to make sure that liquid solution was applied and absorbed by root flares. They can do trunk injections as well. They will take care of that emerald ash borer. They are Gamma Tree experts. Your trees deserve the best care. 314-470-1320. GammaTree.com.
Spring cleaning rule number 1, out with the old, in with the new. And frankly, your family's old internet connection is a dinosaur. Upgrade to the 1 gig modern family standard from i3 Broadband. It's 100% true in-home fiber with equal upload and download speeds, so your teenager's gaming won't crash your video call. Even better, we're currently offering our longest price guarantees ever on our gig speed internet services. Say goodbye to exploding promo prices and hello to budget certainty. Visit i3broadband.com/radio and start your spring off right.
Presented by Worldwide Technology, the BizDash 5K is back. Produced by the St. Louis Sports Commission, a high-energy corporate race in St. Louis's healthiest happy hour. Thursday, May 7th at Energizer Park. Register your team at stlbizdash.com.
Looking for a career change? Well, the Gelman team with eXp Realty is hiring. Their unmatched blueprint to success, real support, and proven systems help agents take their business to the next level. Level up your future and earning potential. Take the first step at thegelmanteam.com.
Get inside your Redbirds in the 2026 season every Tuesday at noon. It's All Access with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol on your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
It is 7:40, and it's time for traffic and weather here on Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Tom Ackerman and Roger Brand, who's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Oh, we're slow, Debbie, on northbound 55, right lane south of Butler Hill up to 270. All lanes from about the Union Road overpass up through Virginia, pretty busy. North 270 slow from 55 through Gravois, north of 44 up to about Clayton Road, and then it's not so bad. Those ramps from east and westbound 64 on the north 270 still backed up. South 270 just Ladue to 64, the busiest part there. Eastbound 64, Annie Guns through Clarkson and right at the Interbelt, kind of slow. Westbound 64, Science Center headed out through Hanley, delays. Eastbound 70, a little heavy. East of the Blanchard into our city, Route 3 between Queenie and Monsanto, both directions, you've got congestion. And westbound 64 is slow both sides of 159. Next update at 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Honey, I found the one.
Oh, I thought I was the one.
Oh, you are, but this one's certified, background check, shows up on time, and can install all the ceiling fans.
Heating, cooling, electrical, and plumbing. Trusted pros who do it right.
CherryClean.com. Joe Lundberg, yesterday was such a lovely day to sit outside towards the end of the day. Are we going to have anything similar today?
It's going to be pretty nice most of the day. Now, I've been watching these showers and even some thunder showers kind of popping up and moving by to the north side of the city. There's a couple more in the more distant west suburbs, so we have to dodge that shower or thunderstorm threat over the next couple of hours. I think the midday and afternoon hours are largely rain-free, with the best chance of a thunderstorm coming toward day's end, like 6, 7 o'clock this evening. Our high gets to 80. And if you get a thunderstorm late today and early tonight, gusty winds and hail are a possibility, along with some downpours. Then later tonight, just a shower or thunderstorm. By morning, we're down to 55, and it goes nowhere tomorrow. A cooler day with clouds, some rain, and a thunderstorm, the high 59. Could be a shower or two Wednesday with a high near 60. The cool weather continues Thursday, but at least it dries out with some sun, the high 67. There might be a shower Friday. Otherwise, we warm to 75 with clouds and some sunshine. Right now, it's a mild 62 at St. Peter's, 64 in Florissant, clouds, a little bit of sun, 64 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, thanks, Joe. It is 7:43, and a deadly disease strikes a cruise ship off the West African coast.
I'm Vicki Barker at the Foreign Desk in London. 3 people have died in a suspected outbreak of deadly hantavirus on board a cruise ship in the Atlantic. Another 3 people are showing symptoms, with 1 patient now in intensive care in a South African hospital. Hantavirus is a severe respiratory illness spread by the urine, feces, or saliva of infected rodents. It's the same disease that caused the death of actor Gene Hackman's wife, Betsy Arakawa, last year. Vicki Barker, CBS News, London.
The search is underway for 2 U.S. soldiers who went missing in Morocco while in the region for a training exercise. Officials say the soldiers were off duty at the time and may have fallen into the ocean in what's being described as a hiking accident. CBS News foreign correspondent Chris Liv said.
Defense officials have just told us that the missing are both in the U.S. Army. They are soldiers, and they were not engaged in the exercise at the time they went missing. Their names have not been released.
Spirit Airlines doesn't fly out of St. Louis Lambert International. It discontinued service here in January as part of a move to reduce its operating fleet and focus on stronger markets. That obviously was not enough to prevent the budget airline from halting operations. CBS's Olivia Gazis reports the closing of Spirit Airlines comes as the Iran war has sent jet fuel prices surging.
The near doubling of fuel prices that led to Spirit's collapse is one of the starkest business losses of the Iran war so far. But the administration is pointing the finger elsewhere.
We had an airline go down because the markets were trying to allow 2 airlines to merge, make them stronger, and offer more competition for the American consumer.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy blamed Spirit Airlines' demise on the Biden administration for blocking a merger with JetBlue in 2024. The previous administration denied the deal over concerns it would remove a low-cost carrier and raise prices.
News just coming in from the New York Yankees. John Sterling, their longtime voice, spanned more than 3 decades and 5 World Series wins, has passed away at the age of 87. He became the Yankees play-by-play announcer in 1989, spent 36 years in the position, calling 5,060 consecutive games until he missed his first game, period, in July of 2019. His obituary is currently in the New York Times, and here on KMOX, we took a look at some of his great calls. John Sterling has died at the age of 87. Let's take a listen.
David Cone is 1 out away from a perfect game. It'll be a 1-1 pitch. He popped him up. He's going to get it. Brocious down from third. Brocious makes the catch. Ball game over. A perfect game. A perfect game for David Cone. The 3rd time works like a charm. It is the 3rd perfect game in Yankee Stadium history. Don Larson in 56. David Wells in 98. David Cone in 99. 27 up, 27 down. David Cone has attained baseball immortality. The crowd standing, cameras flashing, and Rivera cool as a cucumber. The 1-0. Swung on, hit in the air to left center. Bernie trots over. Curtis is there. Curtis makes the catch. Ball game over. World Series over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
We will never forget the voice of John Sterling, who has died at the age of 87. Cardinals lost to the Dodgers yesterday at Busch Stadium. Final score was 4-1, but the Cardinals take 2 out of 3 in that series, and now they move forward to take on the Milwaukee Brewers. After the game yesterday, manager Ollie Marmol very appreciative of the crowds that came out over the weekend. Now, granted, some of them might have been out to see Shohei Ohtani. He went hitless, by the way, for the weekend. But according to Marmol, this was big for his players. Take a listen.
Yeah, I appreciate it. The players appreciate it because they feed off of that. And it was a really, really good environment. And we've said it before, man, you can't just ask them to come out. You have to play a certain way where you earn it. You earn them coming back into the stadium, and I think our style of play has been consistent. The city is used to seeing a certain style of baseball, and you got to be clean defensively. You got to run the bases hard. You got to play the game all 9. I feel like our young dudes are doing exactly that. So I'm proud of our group for the way they're going about it, and I appreciate people showing up the way they have over the last couple homestands. It's been a lot of fun.
In soccer, City lost at Austin. Final score of that one was 2-0. A 2-1 win for the Montreal Canadiens at Tampa Bay. They move on and win that series in 7 games, and their goaltender, Jakub Dobiš, made 28 saves. He's from this area, actually. Moved here when he was 16.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of Jordan Binnington. I grew up in St. Louis, and I just want to elevate my game on every single criteria.
He is a De Smet grad, played for the AAA Blues as well. Colorado beat Minnesota 9-6 in the first game of that series. Time for our Redbird Report, sponsored by Restoration One of Greater St. Louis, and our Parlay of the Day, sponsored by Circus Sports, sports betting the way it should be. Just looking at the NBA, Detroit and Cleveland both winning and advancing to the Eastern Conference semifinals. I'm looking at tonight's games. First game for Philadelphia at New York. The Knicks are a 7.5-point favorite in that one. I like the Knicks there, giving the 7.5. And Minnesota at San Antonio. The Spurs are a whopping 13-point favorite at home against the Timberwolves. I don't know about all that. I'll go T-Wolves plus 13. That is our Parlay of the Day, sponsored by Circus Sports. Sports betting the way it should be.
Hey, Missouri, it's game time. Start betting like a pro with the world's largest sports book at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I'm a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circus Sports. It's sports betting the way it should be, with high limits, player-friendly pricing, exceptional customer service, and more. Download your new bookie at circusports.com. The action starts now, Missouri. Experience the difference with Circus Sports. Bet like a pro.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
On Saturday, May 16th,
Join KMOX and Grassroots Redeeming Love in commemorating 1 year since the historic EF3 tornado that devastated North St. Louis with a short morning of service. Volunteers will meet in the Kingsway East neighborhood from 9 to 11 to help clear tree limbs and trash. If interested in RSVPing for the cleanup or interested in donating to the effort, go to KMOX.com/events for more information.
Now the news at 1 the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, it is 7:52. Let's get you caught up on traffic and weather. Roger Brands in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, not too bad out there, Debbie. I mean, it's busy in spots, but nothing you would normally expect. There's a lot of slow traffic on northbound 270, basically from as you ramp on from 55 all the way to Ladue. But South 270 is just kind of slow 364 Olive. Then it starts to pick up the pace. Northbound 55 down south, we're good to go. You do have heavy traffic running from about the Union Road overpass up through Holly Hills. Some of it's bumper to bumper in the middle of all that. Eastbound 64 drivers looking at some slow traffic through Chesterfield Parkway west to about Timberlake and east to Lindbergh through the Inner Belt. Westbound 64 from the Science Center out through Hanley slow. It's a little busy. Spady out to that North 270 ramp. Those ramp lanes for 64 on the North 270 have been backed up recently. And on the Illinois side, westbound 64 looking better at 159. There's a little backup eastbound 64 at 5570 where those lane restrictions are in place now through Wednesday. Westbound 64 just slow Route 3 to the Poplar. Route 3 still busy, not a complete jam, but heavy stretches coming up from Queenie through to the bridge. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather from Joe Lundberg, breezy and warm, times of clouds and sun. A thunderstorm in the area late, says that could start coming in around 6 o'clock, high around 80 degrees today. And tonight, we could get a late thunderstorm as well. Tomorrow, much cooler with periods of rain and a thunderstorm and a high of 59. It's 60 right now.
You're probably thinking a lot about your yard and the grass is growing really quickly because of the rain, but are you thinking about the insects in your yard? Conservationist Justin Grubb is joining me now. He did this great TEDx St. Louis talk about thinking about the bugs. Justin, I know a lot of people are focusing now on bees and how we can have a better spring for bees, but what are the other insects that we should be thinking about?
Yeah, so there's a wide diversity of insects that could be found just in your own backyard, in addition to bees and butterflies. And all of those insects are incredibly important for the health of the entire ecosystem. So not just pollination, but also nutrient recycling, taking dead plants and returning that energy back into the soil that helps return that energy to those plants that are growing and producing the flowers and things that all the other insects and animals rely on for survival. So when we reduce the lawn and increase the amount of wildflowers, we're helping those kind of insects. I'm talking about like carrion beetles and other types of beetles, and even some non-insect invertebrates like isopods, like the pill bugs that you'd find in your backyard. Those are all super important for maintaining the health of the ecosystem in your backyard. And the crazy thing about it is a lot of the times we think about habitat restoration and we think of it on such a large scale because we're trying to accommodate such large animals like bison or deer or birds. But with insects, they don't need that much space. You could do so much for them in such a small scale. And so the perfect place to start is in your backyard.
People do have a tendency to spray insecticides everywhere when they see an insect. And sometimes maybe that particular insect is a problem, but that does impact all the insects, doesn't it?
Right. Yeah. Insecticide doesn't really have a specific target species when you apply it in your backyard. It impacts everything. And it even impacts stuff, you know, if you were to apply that insecticide or pesticide and it rains, it runs off the landscape and goes into the waterways and stuff like that. So it can impact all kinds of animals that are beyond just the targeting area where you were hoping to apply that pesticide. And so really the best option is to either physically remove a pest that you don't want or to try to use more natural deterrents to try and get rid of something that you would prefer not to be there. But again, kind of going back to the point earlier, everything has an important role to play in the ecosystem. And so having those animals there will attract other animals that'll help benefit the whole habitat
Justin Grubb, a conservationist and former presenter at TEDx St. Louis. This year's TEDx St. Louis Edge of Possible is May 30th at the History Museum. It's 7:56.
Right now, inflation is squeezing budgets, and global events can shake up the markets overnight. If you're close to retirement, you don't get unlimited do-overs. So this is not the time to just hope it works out. That's why Steve Auld and the team at the Auld Financial Group are hosting an upcoming educational seminar called Retirement Simplified, May 6th and May 7th. You'll learn how rising costs could drain your spending power, how political and economic headlines may impact your returns, and whether your retirement strategy is truly stress-tested for today's economy. This event is complimentary, and you must reserve your seat today. 636-230-8824. You can also get more details online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, or registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions. The Auld Financial Group is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the U.S. government or any other government agency.
The story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Working hard but still falling behind? Learn how real estate investing can help you build income and move forward with purpose. Text RADIO to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Here is Roger Brandon, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, we had one of our Kmart's commuters call in about a bunch of cyclists, kids riding bikes, is what they said, on Lindbergh heading up towards Watson. So they may be riding over, I know Truman Elementary is over there off Edian Park Road, and I do see some heavy traffic from about Sappington up to Edian Park. So just watch for the kids. I'm sure, hopefully they're on the shoulder, but traffic is busier than it normally would be, I think, on that stretch of Lindbergh right now, and that's the reason why. But again, not sure why they're out there, but they may just be riding to school as a group, or maybe it is a school function. I'm not sure. If you're on northbound 55, Bayless up through Weber's Jam, then it's still slow to Holly Hills. Northbound 270 is a ramp on from 55 through Gravois slow, and it's slow again from 44 all the way up through 64. Eastbound 64 is still delays through the Chesterfield Parkways and at the Interbelt. Westbound 64 Hampton to Hanley slow. South 270 just a little busy approaching Olive, and on the Illinois side, there's just a little slowdown westbound 64 west of 3rd Street headed across the Poplar. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. A day after President Trump announced Project Freedom, a plan to guide stranded commercial ships through the Strait of Hormuz, Iran claims it hit a Navy vessel near an Iranian port southeast of the waterway. The Pentagon denies that. The BBC's Persia Bahran Abbasi.
The state TV is saying that a U.S. warship had been turned away from the Strait of Hormuz, but was prevented from entering the Strait of Hormuz after warning shots were fired by Iranian forces. But Fars news agency is saying that a warship had entered the strait and 2 missiles had been fired at it after it ignored warnings, and the missiles had hit the warship and it was forced to turn back and leave the strait.
The Pentagon's just announced 2 American flag merchant ships have successfully left the strait. Thousands of Spirit Airline passengers stranded when the airline went out of business Saturday, canceling all flights nationwide. Some never got the message. Transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve is at Florida's Fort Lauderdale Hollywood Airport.
Many of those flyers are still trying to get home. We saw one just show up here at the airport hoping to catch her Spirit flight today, not knowing the airline had shut down.
Lots of questions after a close call at the airport in Newark. A United jet landed too low and hit a truck and a light pole on the New Jersey Turnpike. CBS's Lilia Luciano is at Newark Liberty.
This daily flight from Venice usually lands on one of Newark's longer runways. But because of windy conditions, the pilots were told to land on runway 29, the shortest runway at the airport.
They wanted to make sure they were putting it on the runway at the right point. But unfortunately, it appears that they got too low too soon.
That's former NTSB Chair Robert Sumwalt. Medical doctors who come from countries on the Trump administration's travel ban list will now be allowed to stay in the U.S. CBS's Vicki Barker.
There's been no public announcement, but the New York Times reports the Trump administration has quietly exempted foreign physicians from the visa application freeze that was pushing many out of jobs in underserved areas. The visa ban would have affected physicians from 39 countries and could have worsened America's existing shortage of doctors.
A New York Yankees legend is gone.
Ball game over. World Series over. Yankees win. The Yankees win!
The Yanks flagship station says longtime announcer John Sterling has died. He was 87 years old. This is CBS News.
Go to the ends of the earth, half a world away. Reach for the stars.
If I take time to think, they might go get Brad.
On CBS, Sunday morning.
At 8:03, we have sunny skies, 62 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Monday, May 4th. I'm Megan Lynch. A 20-year-old man is dead following an argument at Busch Stadium. Police spokesman Mitch McCoy says officers received a call around 2:45 this morning and found the victim suffering from stab wounds. He later died at the scene. McCoy says the initial investigation reveals the stabbing happened after an argument between two third-party cleaning contractors.
It has nothing to do with the Cardinals, and it has nothing to do with Busch Stadium itself, other than they were third-party contractors working for the stadium doing overnight stuff.
A person of interest has been taken into custody. A violent Sunday in St. Louis. It started with a double shooting around 1:30 in the 3900 block of Labadie. An adult woman critically injured, a 16-year-old in stable condition after receiving a graze wound. Around 5:30, another shooting at St. Ferdinand and North Taylor, and a shooting around the same time in the 4500 block of Cottage. Police say an adult man critically injured. No other details released. A Jefferson City woman charged after hitting a police officer with her car while drunk. 28-year-old Wendy Stewart was indicted yesterday on charges including second-degree assault and DWI. A grand jury found that Stewart was driving under the influence when she hit and pinned an off-duty officer to a vehicle. St. Louis City Police say the accident happened last September in the 400 block of North Euclid Avenue in the Central West End. Stewart has been jailed without bond. The war continues to cause fuel prices to rise. Gas Buddy petroleum analyst Patrick DeHaan says it may take some time before prices are back to normal.
It may take a year for gas prices to go back to pre-war levels, because every day that we go with the Strait of Hormuz being closed is another week or 2 weeks that it's going to take for that oil to get to where it would have needed to go.
Illinois has just set a new all-time record for average diesel prices at $5.92 a gallon. Average gas prices in the St. Louis region hit $4.20 a gallon today. That average rose almost 27 cents in the past week. It's $1.21 higher than prices a year ago. However, the regional average is 22 cents lower than the national average, which comes in at $4.42 today. The national price of diesel, $5.62 per gallon today. The St. Louis Agency on Training and Employment, known as SLATE, has received a disaster recovery grant. That grant will allow approximately 105 people to carry out disaster recovery work in the city.
Dana Jones is the adult program manager at Slate and tells KMOX this was the grant the state applied for following last year's May 16th tornado.
The jobs will be to just work with different contractors and community organizations that are already doing the work. We'll place people with these organizations and these companies just to continue doing the work that's already being done.
Jones says this work is not profitable, so the city only works with contractors who have signed up to be an STL recovery approved contractor.
And those are the companies Slate is contacting to see if they need additional labor and help. Maria Kina, KMOX News.
The potential Ferguson data center back in discussion. The Ferguson City Council meeting tonight and is expected to take up the issue. A special session on turning the old Emerson Electric headquarters into a data center was supposed to be held 2 weeks ago. It was rescheduled after Mayor Adrian Shropshire said the council needs to have more transparent conversations with residents before taking a vote. With unanimous support, Senator Josh Hawley's GUARD Act passes out of committee.
This bill started with a conversation Senator Britt and I had when Katie said to me after a hearing on this subject, she said, why can't we ever do anything this is my paraphrase. She's a nicer person than I am. But this is a gist of it. Why can't we ever do anything to protect kids?
The legislation imposes criminal penalties on companies whose AI chatbots engage in sexually explicit conduct with minors or solicit minors to commit self-harm or violence. It also bans AI companions for minors and mandates AI chatbots disclose their non-human and non-professional status. From the KMOX business desk in the St. Louis region, about 98,000 households don't have a bank account. That's according to the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. Reasons vary, including people not having enough money to maintain a minimum balance, credit problems, or distrust of financial institutions. Bank On is a program that launched in 2017 aimed at ensuring everyone can access a safe and affordable account at a bank or credit union. A handful of St. Louis area banks offer them, including Midwest Bank Center, Busey, Carrollton, First Bank of St. Charles, PNC, UMB, and U.S. Bank. It's 8:08, traffic and weather next.
Stan Musial, he missed a season in his prime to serve his country in the Navy.
Honor a legend on Saturday, May 16th, when the Cardinals face the Kansas City Royals. Fans can secure a Stan Musial military bobblehead presented by Coca-Cola and Deerbirds. This patriotic collectible celebrates Stan's Hall of Fame career and his service to our country. A true symbol of character on and off the field. A tribute worth displaying and remembering. Don't miss it. Get tickets and details at cardinals.com/promotions.
Some Sundays are made for the water. Sunday, May 17th, as the Cardinals take on the Kansas City Royals, make it a ballpark day too. That day, you can score a Cardinals boat tote presented by Coca-Cola and Walmart. A classic summer bag that fits right in from the dock to the dugout. It's ready for long weekends, sunny afternoons, and whatever plans you have next. Get tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and oh, they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM, the news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
8:10. Let's see how things are moving on the roads for you on this Monday morning with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, northbound Lindbergh's doing better, but a little bit ago, one of our KMOX commuters called in about a large group of, I guess we'll call them student cyclists. They estimated, 50 to 75 of them riding northbound on Lindbergh, coming up through that Edian Park area. I'm not sure if they were headed over to Truman Elementary, which is right off Edian Park there near Lindbergh or not, but the backup not as bad, but I'd still call it from about Robin Road. Headed up through Edian Park. Still a lot of congestion on northbound Lindbergh right now. Northbound 270, approaching Tesson Ferry and north of Sappington through Gravelly's busy, and then 44 all the way up through to Ladue. You still got delays. East and westbound 64 rampant onto North 270. The right lanes are still backed up. Eastbound 64 between Clarkson and Timberlake slow, and then you have pockets from Lindbergh into Big Bend. 170 from the Parkway to 64 is busy. Westbound 64 Hampton out through Hanley is slow. Northbound 55 Bayless up through Virginia is backed up. 64 on the Illinois side does not look bad. Eastbound 5570 a little heavy at 64 through Exchange, where those right lanes are closed for road work. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
A breezy, warm start to the work week today with clouds and sun, perhaps a shower this morning and a thunderstorm toward evening, the high 80. A couple of showers and a thunderstorm tonight. Any thunderstorm late this afternoon into tonight can produce damaging winds, hail, and flooding downpours, the low 55. Tomorrow, much cooler with periods of rain and a thunderstorm, high only 59. Remaining cloudy and quite cool Wednesday with a passing shower or two in the afternoon, high 60. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Sunshine this morning, 63 degrees in Florissant, 64 in St. Peter's, and 62 downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. This morning here on Total Information AM, we're going to pull back the curtain on our own industry. We were shocked here at KMOX when CBS News announced in March that it was shutting down its radio news division. That sign-off happens May 22nd. I reached out to a well-known voice to KMOX listeners, Peter Mayer. He's a Granite City native who worked in D.C. for nearly 2 decades as White House correspondent for CBS News. He joins me now on the Quiver River Electric Gas Line. Good morning, Peter.
Well, good morning, Megan. Good to be with you. And boy, you guys are cooking this morning. Sounding great as always.
Thank you very much. We love what we do here, and that's why this was such a shock to us. What was your initial reaction when you heard that CBS was shutting down its radio news division?
Well, I don't mean to sound like an I told you so. I told one of my former bosses when Paramount Skydance, the company that owned CBS, when they bought it last year, I expected that they would mistakenly look around that vaunted newsroom at the broadcast center in New York and say, oh, radio, old media. Let's get rid of it. As one of my buddies, radio veteran Sam Litzinger, told me, the new kids on the block destroyed the block.
So, what happens in this country when we lose a stable of veteran journalists like they have at CBS Radio?
Well, first of all, it really hits home to me and to my colleagues who are still there and those of us who have retired. That this is really like a death of a good friend, and we've been going through the stages of grief. A major voice of straightforward reporting is being shut down, and the CBS News management, when they announced this decision, this misguided decision, made this contradictory statement. They said, quote, "For nearly 100 years, CBS News Radio has delivered original reporting to the nation. It served as the foundation for everything we have built since 1927. The company mentioned challenging economic realities. In other words, they were told by their corporate bosses to make cuts, and radio was an easy target. And they inexplicably pointed to a shift in radio programming. I don't mean to get into inside baseball here, Megan, but, they say that they're, shift in radio programming strategies, yet the network has 700 affiliated stations, important vital stations like KMOX, and they still, count on CBS Radio News. And I've heard from friends who know my career, and they just can't believe this is happening. As you said, it was a shock.
So, when it comes to the viability of radio, we obviously still feel that it's vibrant. We just celebrated a huge anniversary here at KMOX. When you talk about the information that people receive from across the country and across the world from CBS Radio News, give our listeners a sense, remind us of what we hear.
Well, it is a headline service. Not to diminish it, it is an important headline service. It's appointment listening. People listen for that famous bong at the top of the hour on KMOX and all the other 699 some odd stations. And it is a huge loss of a major voice. Really, when you get down to it, ABC Radio News, and I have a lot of friends there, and I respect that operation very much. They really are the only major commercial network left when the lights go out on CBS on May 22nd.
So I hate to be the person that's always like, oh, this is gloom and doom, because, I still feel like this is a vital business and we provide a vital service. So what's next? What do we need to do as an industry to ensure that our communities continue to get the information that they need?
Well, I think we need stations like KMOX to keep doing what you're doing. I mean, I listen online, believe it or not. I grew up with CBS on KMOX, growing up in Granite City. Oh, and before I forget, Brad Choate, our fellow Granite Cityan and colleague, told me that you and I have a mutual friend in Granite City, Mr. Earl Dotzauer, and he's a pillar of Granite City, and I just want to give a shout out to Earl while we're chatting here.
Glad you did. But
anyway, I digress. But, I just think that, stations have to maintain this commitment to local news coverage, like the coverage that everyone at KMOX provides, and not to give up on it. And I hope that somehow someone else will step up to the plate and perhaps create another radio network. I think that CBS News Radio is irreplaceable with its deep heritage, and we can't lose the sight of the fact that we were on the cusp of celebrating the 100th anniversary of CBS News Radio, and they're pulling the plug on it when it's 99 years old.
How do we balance the fact that, for a lot of us, we feel like what we do is a service, but radio is a business? I mean, we have to pull in money to keep the lights on.
It is a business, and and I think that it is a profitable business when it is done right. And I keep saying that this was a misguided decision by the CBS News management. They want to promote podcasting and live streaming and the CBS Evening News, and they were doing it, as you just heard on the last hourly newscast. They do it on the hourly newscasts on CBS News Radio. And they're losing an outstanding opportunity for cross promotion. You can't put a dollar sign on that. You just really can't.
Peter, thank you so much. Thank you for your years in this business and for coming back on with us.
Always great to be with you, Megan, and thanks for what you do.
Thank you. That is Peter Mayer, former White House correspondent for CBS Radio News. And a lot of you may be wondering, okay, what's next? So Odyssey KMOX is still talking to networks. An announcement on a national radio partner should be coming to you soon because we are still committed to what we do here. Still ahead this hour on Total Information AM. A plane clips a light pole in a truck as it lands in Newark. We're going to have that story at 8:31. Satellites are clogging up space, and it's just going to get worse. I'm going to talk with CNET's Joe Supan about the reality there. And then could bus rapid transit be the best replacement for Metrolink's Green Line, which isn't going to happen now? Michael Calhoun will talk with Bi-State's Talby Roach. Let's get the latest now on the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we continue to improve out there, Megan. This traffic report's a service of Artistic Decks. If you're traveling on northbound Highway 270, there's a couple of slow spots from Tesson Ferry through Gravois. It's not that bad. The bulk of the volume really 44 all the way up to 64. It looks like Lindbergh is cleared out between Gravois and Watson, so things are good shape there for you. If you're on eastbound 64, it's a little busy. Mason to 270. Slow stuff again from Lindbergh in through Big Bend. Westbound 64, Clayton Skinker to Hanley's heavy. South 170 and North 170 between the Parkway and 64, kind of busy. Northbound 55, just some slow traffic from Bayless up through Virginia. Westbound 64, a little heavy past 3rd Street. Eastbound 64 at 70, a little slow into that work zone where they have those right lanes closed past Exchange. And again, the ramp from westbound 64 to eastbound 5570 is also closed. That'll be through Wednesday morning. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be breezy and warm with times of clouds and sun. A stray morning shower possible and then a thunderstorm in the area late today. Expect a high around 80. We could see more showers and thunderstorms tonight, and some of those could be severe. Expect an overnight low around 55. Cooler with rain and a thunderstorm possible tomorrow, a high of 59. Right now, sunshine 62 downtown at the Arch.
Summer's here. Is your backyard ready? If you missed the spring rush, Artistic Decks can still make it happen. From premium wood to maintenance-free composite, get the quality you deserve. Don't wait. Call Artistic Decks today at 314-280-0821.
You guys know Zero Res, the zero residue carpet cleaner that leaves your carpets truly clean with no dirt-attracting soaps or harsh chemicals. Don't risk it with the other guys and skip the do-it-yourself disasters that leave your carpet soaked for days and can do more harm than good. Keep Keep the mud outside where it belongs, not trapped in your carpets. This month, get 3 rooms of carpet, 0 resified, starting at just $139. 314-474-2020 or visit ZeroResSTL.com. Ask for the DGS special.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Is your garage door past its prime? Get a free repair or replacement quote from Renner Garage Door. Renner is America's oldest family-owned garage door company that serves both wholesale and retail markets. Right now, get $100 off a new garage door when you mention this ad. With trusted brands like Delden, Amar, LiftMaster, you know it's built to win. Renters also hire experienced techs and installers. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER. Are you an adult with uncontrolled moderate to severe Crohn's disease symptoms and still packing a backup bag of clothes? Just in case, Skyrizi Risankizumab Riza can help you take control of your Crohn's. Feel significant symptom relief, including less abdominal pain and fewer bowel movements at 4 weeks. Plus, Skyrizi is proven to help people achieve remission and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Individual results may vary. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's. Ready to take control of your Crohn's? Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's disease. Control is everything to me. Learn more at skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZY.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Welcome back to Total Information on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Metro Transit is holding public meetings this week on bus rapid transit for the Green Line corridor after abandoning a light rail plan that became too expensive. KMOX's Michael Calhoun gets more on the BRT, bus rapid transit proposal, from Metro CEO Talby Roach.
Both of them pivot off of Jefferson Avenue, both with routes that go on downtown, and they go a little further north and south, so that we're accessing a little bit more of the great city of St. Louis.
And can you talk about the, catch people up on the reason for a shift from the original plan to BRT?
Yeah, so it's really about delivering fast, reliable, high-capacity transit that connects more people to jobs, education, everyday destinations. But there's no question we looked at Metrolink first, and quite frankly, with how the construction market is going, it just became unaffordable. We just weren't able to generate the tax revenue that was required for that kind of an investment. So it makes sense for us to pivot and come to this really kind of new product that I don't think everybody really envisioned in 2016. And, we're putting it out there, and we think it'll be a really good product for high capacity transit, and we want to take a look.
If I remember right, the uncertainty over federal funding was part of the reason for the pivot. Would this require federal funding, and is it a different amount, or what makes you more confident that that this federal application would be more successful?
Yeah, no question. We still need federal funding in a project like this, but obviously all the numbers are that much better when we move really to a project that costs, nearly 65% less than a light rail option. Obviously the local match then becomes greater. We have a stronger application. We're able to really essentially put a full product together that competes better from a federal standpoint. And really that's my job here is to advance transit and be sure that we are putting a product that's acceptable to the public and competitive to reach all of those very competitive federal funds.
What are the different local funding mechanisms? There's the sales tax, of course. Has there been a TDD or a CID or anything else that would help to contribute the local part?
No, there is not a TDD or CID. Those could be options that we would look at, or that the city may look at if they want to do some associated development around transit, and that's worked really nicely in some other areas right now. But right now, the 2016-2017 tax, Eco-Devo tax, is adequate and provides adequate funding for that local match component. And that's really what we're leaning on right here. Makes our project competitive and shows the federal government that we're serious about developing transit in St. Louis.
Has there been any resolution to the question about whether there would need to be a vote on switching from light rail Metrolink to BRT for the sales tax?
It's very likely that we will be going to a vote to be sure that the St. Louis voters are very confident about a BRT option.
And there are open houses, one today, 2717 Sydney Street, tomorrow at the Polish Heritage Center, both from 5 to 7 p.m. or at a virtual meeting Wednesday at 7 p.m. You can go to greenlinebrt.com for more information on that meeting. It's now 8:27. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Guys, Kevin Wheeler here. I want to tell you about the Burn Balance Complex, which is available at Supplement Superstores. And it's Burn Balance Edge for the guys. It's Burn Balance Zen for the women. And what this is very simply a complete metabolism system. It's not just a simple fat burner. It's way more than that. It works with your body to get the metabolism working the way that it's supposed to. So what you notice right away, what I've noticed here in the first couple of months is your shirt will lay a little bit flatter, your pants fit a little bit looser. It's not like that as immediate, but it comes pretty fast. This is a great natural weight loss option for people that don't want prescriptions or injections. If those aren't for you, go to Supplement Superstores and check out the Burn Balance Complex. On top of getting the metabolism working, you're going to get reduced stress with lower cortisol levels. You're going to have appetite control and craving control, all-day focused energy without the jitters that come with energy drinks. And look, it's not magic. You got to do things the right way, but the Burn Balance Complex makes it so much easier. So get out to Supplement Superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They will knock 30% off the Burn Balance Complex for you right there, and you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at EnduranceWarranty.com.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust. Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free.
Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-292-4382. That's 800-292-4382. 800-292-4382.
Before a nation, there was an idea. Before freedom, there was a sacrifice. This year, KMOX marks America's 250th birthday. Step into history with John Hancock and Michael Kelly, Sunday mornings at 8, as they pull you into the moment where everything was on the line. This is the sound of a nation being born. Celebrate America, 250 years strong, with Hancock and Kelly, Sunday mornings at 8, only on KMOX.
8:30, time for a check of the roads. Let's head back to the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Roger Brand, how's it look out there?
Well, there's still some slow spots, but it's getting better, Megan. So if you're traveling north on 270, there's still a little slowdown coming past Gravel, and then north of 44 all the way up to Ladue. Eastbound 64 Lindbergh into Big Bend's heavy. Westbound 64 Clayton Skinker to Hanley slow. South 170 delays at Brentwood. Northbound 55 Bayless up through Virginia is pretty heavy. Got this road work going on eastbound 5570. Just a little slowdown right now through Exchange. Those right lanes are closed, and the ramp from westbound 64 onto eastbound 5570 is also closed, and it's running through Wednesday morning. So to this afternoon and tomorrow afternoon are going to be tough going into Illinois. So we want to talk about our USPS Ground Advantage reliable route. And that'll be the McKinley Bridge downtown. Will get you around all that backup, or you can take it a little further away from the city, 255 at the JB Bridge or 270 up the Chain of Rocks. No roadwork issues on those runs. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Honey, I found the one.
Oh, I thought I was the one.
Oh, you are, but this one's certified, background check, shows up on time, and can install all the ceiling fans.
Heating, cooling, electrical, and plumbing. Trusted pros who do it right.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, breezy and warm today, a mix of clouds and sun. We could see some thunderstorms in the area late today. Expect a high around 80. Right now, sunshine 62 downtown at the Arch. A terrifying incident at Newark Liberty Airport when a United Airlines flight came in low and hit a light pole and a truck on the New Jersey Turnpike before landing safely. The driver of the truck expected to be okay. CBS News correspondent Lilia Luciano has more from Newark Airport.
Air traffic control cleared the plane to land. Then, about an hour after landing, you can hear the controllers talk to crews on the ground about a plane that was damaged.
They felt something over the threshold, and there's a hole in the side of the airplane. So I'm going to get you on the runway here in a moment. They said it was right at the threshold, so it'll just be a minute.
While the plane landed safely, former NTSB Chair Robert Sumwalt says this could have been very serious.
This airplane was just feet away from striking the ground.
He says investigators will look into whether wind, pilot fatigue after the long flight from Venice, Italy, or other factors may have caused the plane to fly so low.
As a former airline pilot, I would consider this runway to be relatively short. And so I suspect that the pilots wanted to make sure that they were not landing long.
This daily flight from Venice usually lands on one of Newark's longer runways. But because of windy conditions, the pilots were told to land on runway 29, the shortest runway at the airport.
They wanted to make sure they were putting it on the runway at the right point. But unfortunately, it appears that they got too low too soon.
Still ahead on Total Information AM. When did our politics get so divisive? Aaron Perlett is going to take a close look at how we got here and how we can get back to compromise. That's coming up at 8:41. And then before 9 o'clock, satellites are making outer space look like the wild, wild west. Stay tuned.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
8:35, time for your money report, sponsored by Eamon Gatner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
Video game retailer GameStop is making a play for eBay. The retail chain is proposing to buy the online marketplace for about $56 billion. Both companies have been trying to adapt to changing consumer preferences. GameStop has been focusing on collectible toys and trading cards as more video games are purchased online. eBay also has been pushing collectibles, creating a business overlap. Keep in mind, eBay is roughly 4 times larger than GameStop. Wall Street is getting ready for a busy week, which will be capped off by the April jobs report on Friday. Stock futures are lower ahead of the key data on the labor market. Last week, tech shares led stocks higher to wrap up the week, sending the S&P 500 to a record high. And the war in Iran is shaking up the travel industry. Norwegian Cruise Line cut its full-year financial outlook on weaker than expected bookings at the start of the year. Higher fuel prices are also weighing on the cruise operator. Shares of Norwegian falling this morning. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
The reason many of us hate insurance companies is because some of them act like bullies. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. I've been dealing with these creatures my whole career. Whether it's a workers' comp claim, an auto accident, or a nursing home or medical mishap, the playbook is often the same: deny and delay. We became the largest injury firm in America for a reason. We fight the bullies. They know who we are, and I know it makes a difference for our clients. Just go to forthepeople.com and see our results and our verdicts after those bullies gave us their final offer. Hiring the wrong firm can be disastrous. Hiring the right firm could substantially increase your settlement. It's easy to get going. Visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer, or call us on your cell at Pound Law, pound 529. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Experience an evening of love, beauty, and lush soundscapes as the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra performs Ravel's Daphnis and Chloe. 3 extraordinary pieces come to life, from Ravel's masterpiece to the world premiere of Nathalie Joachim's Family to Kevin Putz's evocative Virelai. Nearly 300 musicians, May 8th through 10th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
Each year in St. Louis, 10 women are recognized for volunteer leadership that changes lives. They support families, strengthen communities, and create opportunities where they're needed most. Join us Tuesday, May 19th at the Ritz-Carlton for the 2026 Women of Achievement Awards Luncheon. Celebrate their impact and be part of a tradition more than 70 years strong. Reservations available at WOASTL.org. For more information, go to KingdomOX.com/events.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. YourEyeDoc.com.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. St. Louis police investigating a deadly stabbing at Busch Stadium early this morning. Average gas prices in the St. Louis region hit $4.20 a gallon today. That's nearly 30 cents higher than a week ago. And a group of landlords hoping to settle with the federal government over what they say are billions of dollars in losses due to the federal eviction moratorium in place for nearly a year during the pandemic. Let's check the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we just have some slow traffic, Megan, on northbound 270. It's a little busy briefly north of Gravois, and then about Big Bend up to Ladue, still heavy. The ramps from 64 getting on north 270 are still backed up. If you're on eastbound 64 east of Lindbergh into Big Bend, slow. Westbound 64, Clayton Skinker all the way to Handley's heavy. And like I said, those right lanes ballast getting onto North 270. That ramp is backed up for both directions. Eastbound isn't as much of an issue. And northbound 55, Bayless up through Virginia, you've got slow traffic. It looks like we have a stall on westbound 64 just past 3rd Street. It's a little slow. It looks like it's in the left lane, so just a little volume there. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sponsored by Gloria Liu. With your home sold, Guaranteed Realty, 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Liu. Yes, Gloria Liu with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
We have sunshine now. We could have some storms later on today. Expecting a high today around 80 and overnight low around 55. And then cooler tomorrow with rain and thunderstorms continuing, a high 59. Right now, sunshine 62 downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch. This is Total Information AM on KMOX. Here's Debbie Monterrey.
We live in very partisan times. Politics has become a team sport. It's tribal. How did we get here? Has it always been like this? The Death of Compromise is a new book out by someone that you've probably heard of before because he's been a guest of KMOX in many different facets. Aaron Perlett, welcome back.
Thanks for having me back, Debbie.
The Death of Compromise, How an Unquenchable Thirst for Power, Racism, and Media Killed Political and Cultural Compromise in America. One thing that I always hear people say is politics have always been like this. It just seems more severe when you're living through it. I don't necessarily agree. What do you think?
Yeah, I would disagree. Although going into the process of writing the book, I had no idea. That's why I wanted to write the book, because I think I've become so disenchanted with the state of politics, and as a result, the state of American culture from politics, the bleeding into culture, that I wanted to understand how did we get here? What caused us? What's driving this political violence that we see on a pretty regular basis? And so I went back 60, 70 years because I wanted to find these trigger points in our history. I was, fortunate enough to speak to some people who have kind of been in the thick of it as well. I think your listeners are very familiar, of course, with Senator John Danforth, but I also spoke to Senator Tom Daschle, who was the leader of the U.S. Senate. I spoke with a former lobbyist for the NRA, a former Federal Reserve economist, and some other folks, because I really wanted to understand how we had gotten to this juncture, because it certainly, in my mind, had gotten worse, particularly over the last 30, 40 years.
I do remember a period of time in my lifetime, and not so long ago, when people on both sides of the aisle could disagree and still like each other. I remember one time I actually had dinner with Howard Dean and Newt Gingrich, and they joked around the whole time. I remember at that time thinking, if only you two could agree like this when you're at your jobs, but it doesn't feel like that anymore. Compromising with the other side is tantamount to being a traitor.
It is today. And in fact, it's become a way that politicians are pushed out of their party when they're seen as compromising. I had an interesting, when I spoke to Senator Daschle, Trent Lott, who was the leader of the Senate for the Republicans, is his best friend. To your point about Howard Dean and Newt Gingrich getting along, Trent Lott is his best friend. One of the things that Senator Daschle thought really has led to where we are today is when C-SPAN began televising congressional hearings. And Senator Danforth actually agreed with this when I mentioned it to him. They both felt like it had been additive to where we are, because it created this era of performative politics. Ladle on top of that, in 1987, the Fairness Doctrine was removed by the Federal Communications Commission. The federal, and for people who don't know what the Fairness Doctrine was, it essentially said you couldn't have opinion in broadcast and in journalism. What that led to was the creation of Rush Limbaugh, Fox News, MSNBC. It created opinion journalism that masquerades as true journalism. When you put on top of that social media and how algorithms are dividing us into our tribes, it has created this era of performative politics that Senator Daschle said used to see immediately go away as soon as the C-SPAN cameras were off, that all of a sudden things became more impassioned and forthright, and people actually cared. And he said there were tears as people were making their cases to, their fellow senators and congressmen.
We went from the beginning of C-SPAN to the current administration, where almost everyone that President Trump has appointed to an important position is a TV person, a podcaster or whatever.
Yeah, he certainly has a lot of folks that have broadcast experience. I worry that people feel like I wrote this book trying to change someone's opinion about their politics, and it has absolutely nothing to do with that. I don't want to change someone's opinion on politics. What I want it to do, hopefully, is to make people think about, is it necessary to demonize our opponents just because they have an R or a D and we happen to think differently? Senator Danforth told me that he believes that religious leadership in this country have failed the American people in that they haven't taken a stronger position on morality, and instead they've allowed politics to get in the way of what they've done.
So essentially, if people don't like where we are now, in order to change it, you have to understand how we got here to fix it.
I think so. From what I found, there's been this kind of steady decline from around the time of when in 1964, when LBJ introduced the Civil Rights Act. And it's really when you saw this southern U.S. flip from being a Democratic stronghold to a Republican stronghold. And that's why race is an important part of this book. And it's an important part of kind of the American story. This country was built on the back of immigrants and people of color who were enslaved at the time.
Do you have any suggestions for how we get out of this?
There are certainly some suggestions in the book that I try to lay out. I'm not a policy wonk. It's not my role in this. It's more of a historical analysis. If you look at our electoral system is not set up for someone who has any modicum of moderation in their blood to win through the primary system. It's set up for the extremes. If you look at those who go out to vote in primary systems, it's the extremes from the left and the right. And so these people are not wired to want to compromise. And if we're not compromising, that's honestly what the framers built the foundation of our country on, the idea that argument's good. An argument about policy is good, but ultimately you have to find somewhere in the center to meet. Now, that might be to the left a little bit, it might be to the right a little bit, but we become so hungry for power that, unlike, for those of us who are in marriages, when we're in marriages and we have an argument, we compromise because we're more interested in the health of the marriage, the health of that entity. We've become so obsessed with power and being right in America that we're willing to sacrifice the health of the republic. And it's really terrifying. But things like, I would say, gerrymandering, and we're seeing it across the country. We just saw it. The
U.S. Supreme Court just basically gave the green light
in Louisiana. And in Virginia, we just saw it the other direction. We saw Democrats are gerrymandering. It's very problematic when the playing field isn't simply just leveled for voters, not voters to the right or the left, but just simply voters. So eliminating gerrymandering is certainly one of the things that the book focuses on.
The Death of Compromise, How an Unquenchable Thirst for Power, Racism, and Media Killed Political and Cultural Compromise in America. The author is Aaron Perlett.
Thank you so much for having me and talking to me about this.
And thank you, Debbie, for that. Coming up on Total Information AM before we hit 9 o'clock, and Chris and Amy, we're going to talk about how satellites are starting to clutter up outer space.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
It's Tom Ackerman. I hear this a lot in the St. Louis area. Yeah, I have an estate plan, I think, or we did that years ago, but we've been meaning to look at it again. And honestly, that's the problem. Estate plans are not one and done. My family has been clients of the Laterman Law Firm for more than 2 decades. What I've learned is most plans don't fail because people don't care. They fail because life changes and the plan doesn't keep up. At Laterman Law Firm, this isn't just paperwork. It's an ongoing process. They build your estate plan to protect your family and your property, and then for a fixed annual fee, they actually help maintain it. So it stays aligned with changes in your life, changes in your assets, changes in the law. And that is a big reason we've stayed with them all these years. It's the Laterman Law Firm, latermanlaw.com, or call 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Hey, St. Louis, need to sell your home fast? The Gelman team with eXp Realty can make you an instant cash offer in just 24 hours. No showings, no repairs, no waiting. Visit thegelmanteam.com or give them a call at 314-336-1991.
You're back with Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Are satellites starting to clog up outer space? Joe Supan, CNET broadband expert, has been counting.
There's about 15,000 satellites in orbit total, which doesn't sound like a lot. I mean, space is really big. There's room for plenty of satellites, but it's really a really exponential rise. Like there were only 1,000 in 2010. There were, I think, only a couple thousand 5 years ago. But once Starlink was able to start launching reusable rockets, that the scale of it really just dramatically increased.
So I assume it's cheap enough now that this is nothing for some of these companies to send these up.
Yeah, it's a high barrier for entry. Like Starlink, SpaceX spent a lot of money building those rockets in the first place, but once they kind of get all the kinks ironed out, it's not that expensive to produce the satellites and get them up there. And the Starlink service has been enormously profitable for them. So that's why you're seeing all these other companies trying to get in the race too.
Are there any international regulations governing what is put up in space?
Yeah, that's kind of the big question on everyone's mind. Satellites and space are technically governed by the UN's International Telecommunications Union, but they kind of set the guidelines, and then countries are responsible for enforcing those rules on companies within their borders. So how people work within that is kind of up to each country themselves, but theoretically they are supposed to set the rules.
As you mentioned, this has been wonderful for convenience for people on Earth. But what are the problems that you are starting to see emerge with the quantity of satellites that are up above the Earth?
Yeah, there are a number, and we're still pretty early on the curve. Like I said, there's 15,000. There's projected to be 500,000 by 2040. So most of these concerns are for the future. They're not quite right now, but the big ones are that space debris, like space will just become so crowded that these debris from these satellites will crash into each other, and eventually space will become inoperable for humans and satellites alike. Another really big one that I think people are increasingly concerned about is the environmental impact on the Earth's atmosphere. When these satellites reach the end of their lives, they're deorbited and they burn up in the stratosphere. And we're starting to find out that they are leaving behind a lot of metallic elements up there. So that could accelerate climate change. It could damage the ozone. There's a lot of impacts that we're not quite sure about yet.
I want to go back to that first, and that was one of my questions, is whether it's going to make future space travel and traffic through these satellite orbits difficult.
Yeah, I think that's a real concern that people have. Even a decade ago or so, Russia blew up a defunct satellite that they had, and it just made this huge debris cloud. It forced astronauts in the ISS to have to seek shelter. So human space travel has already been impacted by satellite activity. And just with the increasing number that's going up, it could really affect space travel.
Is there anyone at this point who's working on a solution?
Yeah, there are, I think, a couple startups that have kind of proposed like a big space vacuum to clean up all this debris out there. But really, it's on the companies themselves to be responsible actors right now. And generally, what I heard talking to people in the space community is like Starlink and SpaceX have been really responsible with the way they've rolled this out, with the way they maneuver their satellites. But as more and more companies get in there, there's no guarantee that they'll all, act the same way. So essentially, no, it's kind of a Wild West situation right now. It's up to countries to police the companies within their borders, but so far we haven't seen a ton of that.
That is CNET's Joe Supan, and the article is millions of satellites, but who's in charge? It's a Wild West in space. Again, you can find that on cnet.com. Coming up tomorrow on Total Information AM, a lot of us spring clean our homes this time of year, but maybe it's time for a spring clean of your digital life. We're going to get some tips from media expert Julie Smith on some things you're going to want to do to clean up what shows up on your Google search. A new report shows a toll of Alzheimer's disease. We'll have more from Daniel Hill, community educator with the Alzheimer's Association. And then it looks like there's a resurgence of science fairs, especially in the state of Missouri. And it's not the old kind of science fairs where it was the easy project. These are some pretty sophisticated science fair experiments that high school students are doing. We're going to talk with one of the organizations that's behind this push to really heighten the level of our science fairs. That Science Coach has a new executive director, and we're going to meet her tomorrow morning here on Total Information AM.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by University of Maryland Global Campus.
Too much salt is associated